Yeah.
Hello, Cleveland! Hello, Cleveland! Fucking Mr. Postman, fuck off, good. We'll do it live! Fuck it!
I have no idea what's going on.
Hello and welcome to Out on the Tiles 4, a music rewind live stream. Coming to you tonight on this 14th of April, Out on the Tiles is an unscripted gathering of music nerds, mostly past and future guests. We come to talk about, well, music and whatever trips our fancy. Tonight we have joining us first off is show favorite Luke. How you doing, Luke?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good.
Good.
You will remember Luke from In Rainbows and Quadrophenia and a couple of round tables. So possibly later we may have a couple other guys come in and join us. Some conflicting schedules, but we'll get what we can. Let's see. First off, Luke, did you listen to the new Metallica album?
I have not. No, it's.
I thought you were going to walk and listen to that today.
It's in the mail.
It's in the mail?
Yep, I bought the CD. It should be here tomorrow. But I heard that the vinyl records are running late too. They might not show up for another week or two for people who ordered those. So
I've heard good things. It's touch and go with Metallica albums, but I've heard good things so far.
The couple singles that I heard were pretty great. So I'd like to hear it as a whole, though. I live by your philosophy. Listen to the whole album. So looking forward to it, though. Definitely.
Just got a text from Mike. He's on his way. He got delayed at dinner.
All right. Where's Al? Al's usually pretty punctual.
I don't know where Al's at. We'll have to give him shit. Or maybe the grandkids got involved.
Gotcha.
Who knows?
Should see him next week, though. I'll tell you why here in a little bit, because I believe one of the questions will pertain to it. So,
well, we can. What we wanted to start off with tonight was talking about 2023 and what we're looking forward to, whether it's albums, concerts, festivals, that sort of thing. But go ahead and say. So, I mean, what's on your outlook for 2023?
All right. Well, Al is coming back to Peoria, and we are going to see Cheap Trick next week. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'd set the Peoria Civic Center, so it should be a good time.
Anyone else at the set?
No, I think it's just them.
Just them.
Al bought the tickets, so I don't know the details really, but I don't believe there is an opener from what I read.
Is that near when the Doobie Brothers are playing, or is that?
I didn't even know the Doobie Brothers were coming.
Okay, yeah, he's been trying to get my dad to link up for the Doobie Brothers.
Well, there you go. So it must be
weekend or not.
Yeah, it must be, because if he's coming back for the one, I'm assuming he'll be here for the other. So, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, the Cheap Trick being Rockford. So yeah, they're out of Rockford. So that's what is it from Peoria to Rockford? What, 3 hours?
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah, 3 to Chicago. Rockford's a bit closer, or not closer. They're both the same distance, but it's a shorter drive because traffic doesn't get as congested.
Traffic in the Illinois Valley is not really traffic.
No, it is not.
No, been a while since I drove there though.
Yep. So yeah, Peoria on a bad day, it may take an extra half hour to get to work, but that's when the orange barrels are out. So,
I don't have any specific shows on my horizon other than Wicked in Atlanta. So we do
that counts, right? It's a musical.
Absolutely, it counts. I saw Wicked on Broadway several years ago, and it was fantastic. And really looking forward to taking the wife and kids there. And the last major concert that had scheduled but missed was Harry Connick Jr.
Okay.
And it was a birthday present. We were all scheduled for 2020, and then it all happened. So that one was canceled, and I'm just hoping I don't know what the process is to reinvigorate a tour, or what that is as far as the venues. But I hope they come back through here to Atlanta.
Sure. Make up for the missed concert.
Yeah.
But so Danny, Mike, and I are planning on going to see the National in May in Chicago.
Oh, cool.
It sold out, but Mike is pretty confident he could get us some tickets. So sold out instantly. They added there are 4 dates in Chicago: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Sold out that quick, huh?
The Friday, Saturday, Sunday did. I believe there's still tickets for the Thursday show. So if I have to compromise and take a couple days off work, I can. But and then Nicole, who's coming up on the Cranberries episode this season, we're going to see The Smile, which is Tom York and Johnny from
Radiohead.
Yep.
Where are they playing?
They are playing. I don't want to call it a suburb because I don't know if St. Louis really has suburbs, but Chesterfield.
Chesterfield.
Yep. And then festival that I've been to in the past, the Ohana Festival. They announced the lineup a couple days ago, and Killers, Eddie Vedder, and Foo Fighters are opening the 3 nights. So I really want to go to that one. The buddies that I usually go with just had a kid, so it's going to take some finagling, but I think they can leave the kids with grandma and grandpa, and we can head out there again.
You can do that?
I hope so. I don't know. I don't have kids, so
I need to start doing that.
There you go. But also, Mike and Danny informed me that there's Pearl Jam rumors. So apparently, United Center in Chicago, early September. So if they come there, I will definitely be at both shows.
Well, they toured last year, right?
Because
you guys all met up at
St.
somewhere.
Louis. Yep.
St. Louis.
Yep, St. Louis last year. You're right. I was gonna say it's been a whirlwind.
Do they tour every year? I mean, do they ever take a break?
They're pretty prolific. It's slowed down the last, I'd say, 5 or 10 years, but they used to do 3-4 legs. It was insane back in the early 2000s. So definitely spoiled fans for sure. So when it doesn't end up being 3 or 4 legs, everyone gets a little bent out of shape. But I don't know. The guys are getting old, so I don't blame them. See them while you can, and luckily everyone's still active and still sound pretty darn good. So.
Well, yeah, that's a good lead into to as far as this. We put together a list of the festivals that are pretty much all around the nation. I stuck with just the U.S. I didn't go into like Glastonbury or anything. We're going to pull this up and just kind of comment on the. I'm going to try to comment on the lineups. Maybe.
This is how all the meetings at work go. It's like, can you see my screen?
This is a different software that I'm using here. This isn't Zoom. It'd be a lot easier. There we go. Share window. Found it.
You can cut this part in the actual podcast. Live stream, not so much.
There we go.
All right.
Coachella.
Well, I can instantly say that I know none of the 3. Bad Bunny, Blackpink, Frank Ocean. I don't know any of them. Have you heard of any of the headliners?
Frank Ocean. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Frank Ocean's not bad.
Gotcha.
Bad Bunny, I know of them, but I couldn't tell you a song. Blackpink, never heard of. I don't know what that is.
Yep. I'm in the same boat. And I'm looking through the secondary list. I know
Blondie.
There you go. Nice. There's one. But yeah, Gorillaz. Yep, I love them. So
yeah.
But so far, that's the only band that I would be willing.
Yeah, there's a lot of just unknown. Bjork. I didn't know Bjork was still a thing.
I never got into her. I've got mad respect for her. I think the music community at large definitely enjoys her stuff, but I've never really delved in, so may need to change that.
Yeah, there's nothing. Chromeo, that's not bad. There's nothing grabbing me from this entire lineup.
Nope. I'd be very disappointed at this.
I mean,
this show.
the first day, Gorillas and the Chemical Brothers, I could enjoy that. But past that, I mean, obviously as we go through these, there's going to be tons of undercards that could be right up our alley.
Absolutely.
And we're going strictly off name recognition here.
Yep. And see, that's the beauty of festivals. I was telling you about Ohana. We went back in 2019, and there were so many bands that I really enjoyed, and it was still a great time, even though didn't know them. And like you said, kind of got a few new bands out of it that I explored. So,
well, yeah, and like Bonnaroo, I used to be a staple at Bonnaroo for like 5 years straight, and I saw so many undercards that were just so much better than the headliners.
Sure.
The Dirty Governors and Edward Sharp and the Magnetic Zeros, those types of bands that just gave it their all on those side stages.
Yep. And see, those are the people that we need to support. It's so hard to break into the scene these days. And I don't know, your band camps and buying directly from the artists is what we've got to do to keep the good music coming, because otherwise we're just going to get a bunch of YouTubers making music on their computers that sounds like garbage. So,
well, isn't that how the Gorillas started? But it's actually good.
Well, Gorillas
it's the guy from Blur, isn't
Blur,
it?
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So he definitely started as a band. I'm assuming, I think it was late 80s, early 90s when they got their start, and I'm assuming they were still recording on tape and definitely playing their own instruments. So I'm not going to say he's in that group. Your Biebers and your
your Biebers
and those kind of bands, if you call him a band, singer, songwriter. If he does write his own songs, I don't even know if he does that. So,
all right, well, we'll go down here to so up here is Sunfest. See, now this one looks like more up my alley.
Mine too. I would enjoy this, especially the three headliners. So 311, I wouldn't mind seeing them. Dropkick Murphys, we're down to the second.
Yeah, Dropkick Murphys, I would love to see. I mean, that's one that my wife really likes them, and I'd love to see them too.
Yep.
But I want to say Ziggy Marley, I might have saw at Bonnaroo, but I can't remember.
Nice.
But just the Killers and Jack Johnson. I mean, I'd want those two alone.
Yep. That's a big draw for Ohana for me this year.
Oh, okay.
I'd love to see them live.
I caught Jack Johnson at my very first Bonnaroo.
Okay.
Where he played right before Pearl Jam.
Very cool. Yeah, I knew they had performed together a few times.
So Eddie Vedder joined them on stage, and then I think he joined Pearl Jam on stage, if I remember right. So it was a lot of collaboration going on. It was good stuff.
See that, and that's Ohana as well. Last year, Jack White and Eddie split the bill on the second night, and they did the same thing, play together.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen that set.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would have been cool. Shaky Knees, the local one here.
And are you going to this one?
I am not. We have a lot of plans in May. May 7th, I think, is my son's first communion, which my wife would get mad at me for forgetting the date, but
yeah,
which is a shame because this is a hell of a lineup. Really, there's a lot on here I'd like to see.
I absolutely. This is intense. I wouldn't mind.
Oh, Diggable Planets is on there.
I've not heard of them, but
they were a great one-hit wonder out of the '90s. The Rebirth of Slick.
Okay.
Dude, I remember like it was a beatnik song, kind of like doom 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 doom. No, it's a great tune, but I couldn't tell you another song from them.
I'd have to look it up. But so the headliners are the Killers, Muse, and the Lumineers. And then secondary lines, I would say they're just as good, if not better than some of the first. So got Greta Van Fleet, Yaz, Tenacious D, Mars Volta, Hozier, and the Flaming Lips. And then the tertiary line, there are some amazing bands as well. Yeah. This just keeps going. So
Cypress Hill, and 311 again, Gaslight Anthem,
Father John
Misty.
Yep.
Live. I thought Live had another collapse.
They did, but Ed got a brand new band, and he's going out as live. Yep.
Until this one falls apart.
Actually, I don't. Ed got a lot of flack. I don't think he was the cause. I think it was the band. If you read that article that
I
Danny
did read that article. That was fascinating.
Intense.
Yeah.
I can't imagine going through all of that.
There is some crazy band drama in the history of live that I had no idea existed.
Yeah, anyone listening that's even semi-interested in live, check it out. There's an article on Rolling Stone that it's amazing. All of the scandals and thievery. I mean, it was intense for sure, but it sounds like it was more the band than Ed. And I think Ed kind of got the flack because he's the eccentric, over the top.
Yeah, he's the front man. He's the name everyone knows out of there.
Yep. And I don't think he really had much to do with it. So maybe this new iteration of live will thrive. Who knows?
Well, and there is a band called Trash Panda, and I don't know their music, but I'd like to see them. There
you go. But yeah, the rest of the text is getting a little small for my
I'm squinting.
38-year-old eyes. So
all right, okay, let's move down. Sick New World, May 13th in Las Vegas.
This is high school Luke's dream right here.
Yeah, this is crazy.
It really is.
Wow. So you got System of a Down as the top of the bill.
Huge fan of theirs.
And then as we move on down, you got Korn, Deftones, Incubus.
That was high school all over for me. I'm not sure where you were with that, but
oh yeah, well, this was high school, but more than into my army years, the early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you get into like Evanescence, Papa Roach, Chevelle, Flyleaf.
Love Chevelle too. Chevelle is very underrated. Their album that they put out a couple years ago, and I think they're putting out another album this year. But I don't know how to pronounce it. Neuradius, I believe. But anyway, it's just as good as their early stuff. So, but Incubus, I've seen them quite a few times. I love that band.
I saw Incubus and the Deftones actually in Chicago
nice.
in my in right about the early 20s. Now that I think about it, right when Incubus was White Pony. Was that the name of the Deftones album?
Yes. Yep.
It was during that album because they were the headliners, but Incubus to me took the show.
Sure. Yep. Every show we've been to, my buddies and I, it's been stellar. No joke or no pun intended.
It's fascinating to me, some of these lineup cards where, so below the Papa Roach Flyleaf line, you've got several bands that I've never heard of. I mean, you still have Cold Chamber and Killing Joke. I've heard of them, but then even lower on the hierarchy, now you've got bands that were big back in the 2000s. Yeah, like they're just the hierarchy. They're being usurped by some newer people.
Sure.
Because lower now you've got POD, Seven Dust, Hoobastank, Filter,
Alien Ant Farm.
Where's Alien Ant Farm? Oh yeah, that is their logo.
Yeah,
I haven't heard them in a while. Stabbing Westward.
Either. I used to love Hoobastank and Stabbing Westward.
Orgy, Monster Magnet.
Those are getting down on the tiny side. Yeah, this festival is early 2000s rock fan.
There's going to be a lot of baggy jeans and dark shirts there
for sure.
In May in Las Vegas, it's going to be hot too.
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
hot and stinky.
Welcome to Rockville, Daytona Beach. 4 days at the end of May. This is another good one.
Yeah, I would gladly see this. Got a lot of carryover from the previous one. But Queens of the Stone Age, they're touring, so that leads me to believe that we're going to get a new album. They're at quite a few.
Does Dave still play drums for them?
No. He played on Songs for the Deaf and a few songs on Like Clockwork. But yeah, those were the only two that he participated in. So. But and I'm assuming Foo Fighters, they just teased a clip on Twitter, so I'm assuming they're going to be pretty busy with a new album and tour. So.
Yeah, who was your guest for their drummer?
Josh Freese.
Freese.
Yep, he's a stellar. he's in Perfect Circle, but he fills in quite a bit too. He's a session drummer. So, but yeah, if you look him up, you'll see it's incredible how many albums he's been on. So, but yeah, so for those of you listening and not watching the live stream, Rockville, we've got Slipknot, Rob Zombie, Queens of the Stone Age on night 1, Avenged Sevenfold, Evanescence, and Hardy night 2.
Never heard of Hardy.
Neither have I. We might have discussed him last time. I think Mike was looking him up and saying he was like a hick hillbilly.
I mean, just they're a headliner, with the likes of Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper, Tool. I mean, it's like the one headliner that I've never heard of.
Sure, I'm gonna look him up real quick.
But yeah, then Saturday you've got Pantera, Godsmack, and Alice Cooper. Sunday closes it out with Tool, Deftones, and Incubus.
Oh yeah, Sunday is the night I would go to if I could only pick one. Mars Volta's on line 2, Coheed and Cambria. That would be. Oh, and Filter's on there too.
Yeah, they are.
Another 90s throwback, and apparently they're coming out with a new album. So,
that's a good question. Like a kind of something we could do is if you had to pick one day of a multi-day festival, which one would it be? I would have to go with Saturday.
Okay.
Pantera, Alice Cooper. I saw him at Bonnaroo. He puts on a great show.
Sure.
But Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. I'd like to see that.
That'd be neat. And of course, your favorite Alter Bridge, which is Creed minus Scott, correct?
I think so.
Where's Mike when you need him? So, but I might change my vote too. Night 1, Thursday, Queens of the Stone Age, obviously, but I just saw Pussifers on there, which I absolutely love that side project of Maynard's.
Suicidal Tendencies, Bullet for My Valentine. Yeah, that's a good night too. Yeah.
So this whole I'd say absolutely to this one. If anyone gave me free tickets, and a week off of work.
All right, let's move on to the next two. Wait, look at this Sunday. There's a Bob Dylan.
I don't know.
Bob.
Bob. So play on Bob Dylan. Okay.
Vylan.
and he's probably like a death metal.
Covers all Bob Dylan songs with speed metal.
There you go.
Gotta have a niche.
Yep. Ooh, this one's my backyard. 15 minutes away.
Summer camp out of Chillicothe, Illinois.
I have lived here my whole life and have never gone to summer camp. It's always been just very jam band focused, and don't get me wrong,
it still is.
Yeah, but I do like jam bands to an extent. I love Fish, but I like their studio efforts more than their live stuff. So, but anyway, yeah, Humphreys, everyone knows. But Goose is on here, and they're someone who I've been recently getting into. I really dig their stuff. But my opinion, the big hit here is Les Claypool.
Yeah, Fearless Flying Frog Brigade.
They are performing Animals in full at this concert.
This is the as stoner jam band concert as I can get. Just looking at this bill.
Yep.
I mean, so Humphreys McGee, Mo, Willie Nelson and Family, Goose, Disco Biscuits, Les Claypool, Excision. I don't know them.
I've not heard of them either.
Wolfpack, never heard of them. Cajun White Knight, is that what that says?
Looks like it. That one's another one that's difficult to read, but
yeah. And then you go down the undercards, and it could be these band names could be just a bunch of really stoned people mumbling in the dark. There's some weird names on here.
Papadozio. I've heard of Keller Williams.
Ahi, Aqueous, Steady Float, Zeke Beats, Yim Yam,
Baked Shrimp, Chicago
Farmer, and the Field Notes. I'd see them. I'm kind of curious on that one.
I've heard them. They're actually pretty good, and they're not really jammy. They're more bluegrassy.
Yonder Mountain String Band, saw them at Bonnaroo. They were great.
Okay.
The Wailers, I guess. I assume that's like of Bob Marley and the Wailers, like his band.
I would assume that as well.
I mean, that's not a band you can name yourself that and not make that connection.
I wouldn't think so. So, but yeah, I'm probably gonna pass again.
Yeah, this isn't one for me anymore.
It'd be cool to see Les Claypool do Pink Floyd Animals. I mean, that
would be good.
That's what they're playing that night. So,
oh man, I didn't catch that. That's
yep. So
that'll be one to watch on YouTube.
Well, it's actually already on YouTube. So they did it a few years back as well.
There you go.
They're bringing it back this tour. So did an excellent job. And I mean, if you can imagine Roger's bass parts done by Les Claypool, he's taking it to a new level.
Good year to do it, with their 2018 re-release of it. Capitalize a bit and
yep.
Yeah. Let's see what's next here. Boston Calling. May 26, 27 in obviously Boston. The Harvard Athletic Complex. This is a little hard for Harvard.
I would definitely go to this one as well.
Oh yeah, this is great. Foo Fighters starting it off, and the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. Then you got Lumineers and Luke's favorite, Alanis Morissette.
Hey, I'd see her in a heartbeat.
Then closing out is Paramore and Queens of the Stone Age. Nice.
Yep, for sure. And got a killer secondary list as well. So talked about the National earlier.
Yeah. The Flaming Lips are in there.
Yep.
Q-Tip Bandits, I've heard of them.
Heard Mount Joy is good. Never really given them a shot, but
King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
People love them as well. I've never given them a shot, but I've got some buddies that are into them. So
okay. That was a new one for me.
We'll have to make a point of checking them out after this.
I'm surprised this is Harvard. It just seems a little, hard for Harvard.
Yep. And I'm assuming the Bulldog logo with the suit, does that have something to do with the school, or?
I don't know. I've never been to Boston. I need to get up there. It's on my list. All right, let's see what's next. Beachlife Festival in Redondo Beach, California, May 5 through 7.
Is amazing.
Wow. Oh, this is great.
For sure.
So for our listeners not on the stream, you got Friday, the Black Keys, Pixies, and Modest Mouse.
Beautiful.
Saturday is Gwen Stefani, Sublime,
Band of Horses.
And Band of Horses, Dispatch, Sugar Ray. Woo. And then Sunday, you got the Black Crowes, John Fogerty, Trampled by Turtles. I love them.
I like Head in the Heart as well.
See, now this is a hard one to pick a single day.
Sure.
Oh, that is tough.
So I've seen Band of Horses multiple times, so I'm going to get rid of Saturday.
But I'm leaning Sunday.
Black Keys, Pixies, and Modest Mouse. That's trifecta right there.
That is really good. But Black Crowes,
yes.
John Fogerty, and Trampled by Turtles. I mean, I'm going with Sunday. My classic rock and blues, bluegrass heart pulls me that way.
Yep.
Sublime with Rome, it says. I mean, because Sublime's lead singer from back in the day passed away.
Yep.
So I don't know who Rome is.
Neither do I. They've been touring for a while, though. So
have they?
Oh, and they're performing 40 Ounces to Freedom, which is probably my favorite Sublime album.
That is a good album.
So that would be a good.
I caught Dispatch at Bonnaroo, and they were really good. I'm glad I got to see them. Not what I expected. I was expecting quite the, toned down hippie acoustic stuff, but they, they really put on a good show. They jam a lot more. They have the guys play multiple instruments sometimes in the same song. It was really nice. Impressive. A lot of without knowing the actual technical terms, nothing. A lot of say African influence to it. Like they would like the percussion side of it.
Sure.
Yeah, it was really good stuff.
Nice. So Paul Simon.
Yeah, yes, like that
Yes.
Paul Simon, his sabbatical type albums and stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, next up, your
Another one.
favorite.
Yes. Another one close to home too, Bloomington, Illinois.
Tailgate and I can't.
You had the inflection right though. Tailgate and Tallboys.
There it is. There it is. Out of Bloomington, Illinois. Where is this at in Bloomington?
I don't know.
It is the ultimate truck show experience.
Hosted by Chelsea Lynn. Who is Chelsea Lynn?
Well, your headliner's Nickelback.
Nice. Again, where's Mike? We need his ranting.
If he's not here to defend himself, that means he approves of this set list.
I agree. This would probably be the one he chooses.
Yes.
So, but I'm going to be honest. I don't think I know another name on this list.
I think we put this in the list strictly for Nickelback.
and do you? Someone said too. Do you associate tailgating with Nickelback? I don't know.
No. I mean this is terrible. This is easily the worst one on the list. I'm sorry for whoever put together the lineup for Tailgate and Tallboys, but maybe these are good local bands in Bloomington, and I just I'm not there.
Could be. So we got Jelly Roll, we got Kane Brown, we got Parker McCollum, Bailey Zimmerman, Lainey Wilson, Young Gravy, Mike Morgan Wade. Now, or is it just Mike and then Morgan Wade's another one?
That could be.
Mike period is the name. So yeah, we'll have to look some of these up.
Is it kind of like fun period?
It could be, yes. But I'm not going to read anymore because they're the
other than maybe DJ Cliffy D, there's probably a lot of country in here.
I'm assuming so, yes.
Yeah. Young Gravy, that's weird. That's a terrible name. Whoever
I agree,
named, yeah.
But that's one that I think I've heard before. I don't know where I would have heard it, but I do believe that's a semi-famous, I want to say rapper, but so anyway, that also leads me to believe that not all of these are locals.
Yeah.
So we might just be completely out of the game here.
Well, that's Tailgate and Tallboys out of Bloomington, right there in mid-June. Bloomington, Illinois. You can pick them, Bloomington.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
And it's only half an hour away, so.
All right, now we've got the M3 Rockfest, it looks like. In May 6th at the Merriweather Post Pavilion, Columbia, Maryland. 2 days. And now we got some classic rock and 80s metal.
I'm thinking this is Al's cup of tea.
Oh, I'd love to see this one.
I would not.
Styx, Extreme.
Now,
there.
Are Styx still the same band? I thought the lead singer stopped touring because he had a phobia of the sun. Something.
Dennis DeYoung, I don't believe tours with them anymore. Okay. However, I kind of like Journey. They were able to find a guy that sounds just like him.
Gotcha. So
which I believe pissed off Dennis DeYoung quite a bit, but
I'm sure it would. But hey, if the band wants to continue and he's not going to, I don't blame them at all.
So yeah, Saturday you've got Styx, Extreme, Winger, Slaughter, Quiet Riot, Lita Ford, Brittany Fox. I think I've heard of her, but then a couple of lower ones that's hard to read. And then on May 7th, Sunday, you've got Kicks, Warrant, Great White, Loudness, Steven Adler Band, Firehouse, LA Guns, Vixen, Mike Tramp.
Is it bad that I've never heard of Kicks and they're the headliner?
I've heard of Kicks, but they should not be the headliner. I mean, but other than the fact that I think Warrant and Great White have lost their lead singers. Okay,
so this will lead to another question that you've got on the list later on tonight, but I don't know. I'm not
because I've seen Warrant several times, and back when the lead singer was alive, and he was great. The band was great. I haven't. It's one of the Warrant's 2 shows that I've seen have been, especially the one in Hawaii, was so much fun. The band was on point. They played classics. They covered they covered War Pigs and Lit, of all things.
Really?
Yeah, my own worst enemy.
Yeah.
But one of the funnier moments was that he's like, we hate these two songs, but we are obligated to play them, so we're sorry and fuck you. And so they started playing the beginnings of Heaven.
Okay.
And then they sang a couple lines, and then they cut into the beginning of I Saw Red. And then that was it. And they're like, that's it. Okay, now let's rock.
There you go.
That was great. But I think he died. I'm pretty sure he did.
Gotcha. I never got into him, but do they sing Cherry Pie?
Yes, Warrant is Cherry Pie.
Okay. So that
but Warrant is also Uncle Tom's Cabin, which is a fantastic song that is totally underrated.
Okay.
But if I had to pick one of these two, I'm taking Saturday. I mean, Styx and Extreme.
Sure.
I'm there. Extreme with provided it's the Extreme lineup that I know, with Gary Sharon and Nuno Betancourt on guitar. I enjoy it. It's a good band.
All right.
Nuno Betancourt is one of the most underrated guitarists of all time.
I can't speak to that.
My old roommate in the army was a guitar player, and his two idols were Yngwie Malmsteen and Nuno Betancourt. And I didn't know who Nuno was, other than I didn't know who he was at all. But then he's like, oh, it's Extreme, like the More Than Words guys. But then I heard more of their songs through him, and I became a fan. I like Extreme. All right, so now we've got Sonic Temple, May 25th through 28th at where's this at? Columbus, Ohio. And this is another hard one.
Yes, it is, and it looks
a lot of the same.
A lot of overlap. Yep.
Yep.
And not just overlap from one. It looks like they're cherry picking from all of the.
Yeah, we're gonna start to see some of them are on the same travel legs here.
Yep.
Tool and Godsmack. Pennywise, Suicidal Tendencies again. Then you got for Friday, Avenged Sevenfold, Queens of the Stone Age, Chevelle. Saturday, here's some two new names I don't think we've seen tonight, which is Kiss and Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie might have been on another one.
Not that I've seen, unless he was buried, which I wouldn't think so, but. I didn't know Kiss was still touring.
Yeah, neither did I. I was just thinking, who from Kiss? I mean, that's a band that, again, we have a question later about original lineups, but that's a band that you can put anyone in face makeup, put them up on stage, and they could play it. And would you know the difference?
Probably not.
I wouldn't.
Maybe the diehards. I know there are a lot of diehards. I don't.
There are
crap about Kiss because. Never know who you'll offend.
Well, I did enjoy Destroyer. That.
Yeah.
You
guys did that one. I listened to it, and they're not bad. It's just not something that I return to.
Got a comment from my brother Nick. He says, "I thought Warrant was a one-hit wonder with Cherry Pie. Thank you, Guitar Hero." Uncle Tom's Cabin, Nick. Check it out. It's a great tune. That Sunday, Foo Fighters and Deftones again, and Sublime again.
Yep, I'm really hoping the Foo Fighters can get back on their feet, and that was a huge blow, but I think they're still a tight family. So the clip that they posted on Twitter sounds really tight as well. It sounds like classic Foo Fighters.
So which day are you picking here for Sonic Temple?
It would probably go with Thursday. I want to see Tool.
I'm avoiding Tool.
I know you had the bad experience.
They've still rubbed me wrong. But under Tool, though, you got Pennywise, which I saw Pennywise in Hawaii, and they were fun. They put on a great show.
And Suicidal Tendencies, I know that's one of Mike McCready's. He's a big fan of them from Pearl Jam, so I've never given him a shot. I know he respects them, so I did. I check him out.
I'm probably leaning towards the Sunday here with Foo Fighters and the Deftones.
And Pretty Reckless. She's amazing. I forget her name.
Filter, which is touch and go. I like some and not others from them.
I think Momsen is her last name. Is it Taylor Momsen?
Oh, is that who the Pretty Reckless?
Yeah, she was in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Well, no, she was in The Grinch. She was.
Oh yes, you're right. You're right.
Cindy Lou Who. Yeah.
Yep, you're right. Started off as a child actor and then grew into a hard rocker.
Bob Villain's on there again.
Nice.
1 second here. Dead air. It's great. All right.
Again, we can cut that out of the podcast. Sorry for all the viewers right now.
And here's one that's near and dear to my heart, Bonnaroo. June 15 through 18, Manchester, Tennessee. But there's a reason I don't go to Bonnaroo anymore.
I mean,
oh man, this is
Sunday for sure.
There's no choice here. It's definitely Sunday. This is terrible. I'm sorry, Bonnaroo. What the hell have you done? They had such great lineups in the past, from I'm not even going to list them all off, but I saw so many great concerts there, but to include headliners, but this is just not like they're not trying.
Nope. So
I'm sure I would enjoy Kendrick Lamar. I have not given him a chance, but many people have told me that based on my taste in music that I would like him.
Okay.
Portugal the Man, I've seen at Bonnaroo. They're great. Odessa, who is that?
I've not heard of him.
No idea who Odessa is.
So I see Fleet Foxes on line 3 of Friday night. So I would enjoy seeing them. But for the first 3 nights, I really don't know that many people. Korn, Sheryl Crow on night 3, but they're deep on that list. I'm shocked by that.
In the first night, you've got the headliners is Zed's Dead and Liquid Stranger.
Nope, never heard of either of them.
No. Pixies are there on. Sunday is the Foo Fighters is the headliner, and then you got Paramore, Marcus Mumford, the Revitalists, Pixies, Humphreys McGee. Those are all bands that I would all sit and watch.
And Franz Ferdinand is deep on that last list too.
Why are they on the third level?
I have no idea.
What the hell?
So
they're barely above Paris Jackson.
And then they've got above Franz Ferdinand is Hippocampus, Girl in Red, Alesso, Revolution. I've never heard of any of those people. Jauz. How do you pronounce that? Jaws? Nope.
Apparently, there's a band called Diarrhea Planet.
I've heard of them. Yes.
That's an interesting name.
Well,
now if you look at Saturday, 3 levels down is the band Camino. I like them.
Okay.
They're good.
Jenny Lewis is good. I saw her at Ohana.
One big omission here is there's no New Orleans on here, and they usually have some sort of representation of New Orleans, whether it's the Preservation Hall Band or the Dirty Dozen Brass Band, Soul Rebels.
Are they on the main stage, or do they have like a
no?
Tent? Didn't you say there was like a tent that had
on the very first Bonnaroo I went to, there was a tent.
They might be planning on that then.
Maybe
if they're not going to be on the main stage,
because there's nothing, absolutely nothing regarding any sort of New Orleans brass or even funk that I'm seeing. So
unless some of these no names are,
and there could be someone that it's hidden in there, but there's no so-and-so brass band, which there usually is. So it's just disappointing.
Yep. I would not go to that festival.
All right. So next up we've got Summerfest, Milwaukee, which is 3 weekends. Wow.
Yeah, that is a wow. 3 weekends, not 3 days.
So we got
That's
June
crazy.
22 through 24, June 29 through July 1st, and then July 6th through 8. This is there's a lot on this one.
And I've never heard of this festival. Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
It's got some good bands. Zach Brown Band. So June 22 through 24, you got Zach Brown Band, James Taylor and his All-Star Band.
With Sheryl Crow.
Yeah.
With Sheryl Crow, though. She'll be... Didn't we talk about this last... She was the backup singer for Michael Jackson, so...
When I went and saw Billy Joel, Sheryl Crow and... God damn it. Commodores. Oh God, I feel bad now. Dancing on the Ceiling.
I'm not going to be any help here.
Oh, that's good. Hello.
Oh, Lionel
Richie. Yes.
Yes.
Lionel Richie. So they opened for Billy Joel, and Lionel Richie was fantastic.
Okay.
Sheryl Crow was boring.
Yeah.
She was just boring.
I remember you sent us a selfie during Sheryl Crow's set, and you did not look amused.
A lot of people on their phone during Sheryl Crow. So yeah. Nothing against her. I'm sure she's very talented.
I enjoy her music.
Maybe part of an all-star band with James Taylor, who is not necessarily known to be a rocker. Exciting is not what I would attest to James Taylor, but I do like his songs. I like his music.
Well, we've got Elvis Costello that weekend.
Yeah.
Got
the Abbott Brothers,
Fits and the Tantrums, Cheap Trick,
Queensryche, Buddy Guy.
Nice. I didn't know Queensryche was still around either.
Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
See, so that would be an okay.
Deer Tick, the Romantics, the Wailers again.
Depending on how much they charge for a weekend. Because each of these is a 3-day weekend, which again just blows my mind that they're doing three nights in a row for 3 weekends in a row.
The second weekend, you've got Dave Matthews Band, Odessa again, which we don't know who that is. And then you've got Earth, Wind, and Fire, Yellow Card, Flyleaf, Jesus Jones. Whoa.
Night Ranger and 38 Special. Spin Doctors. Holy cow.
Debbie Gibson, Survivor.
Wang Chung.
John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. I'm sold. I am sold.
So far, you're going to weekend number 2 then?
I'm liking weekend number 2. Like a blast from the past on this one. Flock of Seagulls? Come on. Wang Chung. They got Wang Chung on there.
I had no idea they were still going.
Wow.
Well.
And then, so July 6th through 8, you've got Zach Bryan and then Imagine Dragons. I would go to, if I was going to the third weekend, it'd be for Smokey Robinson personally.
Sure. Japanese Breakfast is good. There's your Styx again.
Tesla.
Dinosaur Jr. Collective Soul. Smash Mouth. Built to Spill. Okay.
Built to Spill.
That's it. I'm going to weekend.
Sold.
Yep. Built to Spill is one of my favorites.
Buck Cherry, Soul Asylum.
Yep.
And then people I've never heard of.
All right. So I picked weekend 3. You're going to 2?
Yeah, I'm kind of going to go to 2 here.
Right.
Yeah. Although the first trip or the first weekend does have Buddy Guy, Queensryche, Cheap Trick, and Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Fits in the Tandems, Elvis Costello. Oh, man.
You torn?
Vanilla Fudge is in there, too. How are they still going?
There are a lot of bands on here that I had no idea they were still around. So.
Right? Yeah, I think I'd go with weekend 2. Weekend 2.
So far, I don't think we're going to be running into each other very much at these festivals.
Well, if Mike and Danny were here, they would pick Dave Matthews.
Oh, yeah. That's another.
Yeah, they're big Dave Matthews fans.
Dave Matthews, Nickelback, and Alter Bridge.
You're big on Dave Matthews, right, Mike? All right. Then.
That was a yes.
Yep. Okay.
Or
All
is
right.
it, I don't think Mike is the one that's against them. I think that was Danny. I don't.
Mike was big on him back in his college days, and then had like
same.
a hard fall.
I don't listen to them anymore either. I burnt out pretty quickly. So Dave Matthews was the first band that I followed on tour religiously. So I'd go
really?
every year. Yep, starting in high school, and I kind of just fell off as well. But nothing against them. They've got a new song that I listened to recently. It came out a month or two ago, and it was pretty darn good.
I still like Dave. There's those early albums I still listen to, especially his one with
Tim Reynolds.
Tim Reynolds live at Luther College.
Yep, I agree. That was always my favorite.
It's a double album that I just always listen to.
Yep,
it's great. All right, so next we've got from Mansfield, Ohio, Inkcarceration, which I guess it's a music and tattoo festival. All right, July 14th through 16th.
That doesn't sound sanitary.
Not at all. I mean, there's plenty of jokes to throw out there, but yeah.
And it doesn't. Don't you have to be sober to get a tattoo legally?
I don't know. It is Ohio.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
We'll use that as an excuse.
When your three headliners are Slipknot, Pantera, and Limp Bizkit, the rules go out the window.
Yeah. And I guess those bands are associated with a tattooed crowd.
Well, Pantera and Slipknot, I guess. Limp Bizkit has had a very unique career.
That music video that I sent you guys, that was so awesome.
That was great. I'll give them full credit.
Yep, the deep
fakes. Yeah.
That was so good. And you know what? I'm gonna admit it. I like the song. Am I gonna revisit? No. But
well, the music video was entertaining enough that I didn't not like the song.
Yeah. Yep. But it sounded like classic Limp Bizkit, and I know classic's probably not associated with that band name, but I enjoyed their first couple albums when I was younger. So again, never revisit them, but I did enjoy them.
Classic Limp Bizkit.
Yes. I'm glad you're not as judgmental as Danny and as Mike, because I would have.
So I mean, without them to completely trash everything, I enjoyed the Limp Bizkit album with Break Stuff and
was Significant Other, I believe.
And but the one before it also with Faith. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was the new metal of the time, and it wasn't bad. Yep. They definitely went downhill quickly.
Yeah.
But there was one track by them that I really did enjoy, which was it was for Mission Impossible 2.
Yes.
They did their own interpretation of the Mission Impossible theme song, and that was really good. Because it built up and up and up, and then it rocked.
Yep. Now I know why you want to hate me, right?
Yep. There you go.
But I think that was on Chocolate Starfish, so that would have been the fourth album. Right?
I had the Mission Impossible soundtrack.
Okay.
So I never bought Chocolate Starfish. That was where they went downhill. Was that Chocolate Starfish? Yeah.
Sure.
Let's see here. So first night Friday we got Limp Bizkit, Volbeat, Highly Suspect, Cold Chamber, and Hatebreed. POD then, yeah.
I've heard of that secondary list, but I don't know if I've ever really explored. Cold Chamber would be the only one that I.
Well, POD.
Yeah, but that's third line. So yeah, POD. I had that album that was big in the early 2000s.
I mean, based on name recognition, the first night's pretty weak. I mean,
yeah, yep, I would agree with that. I wouldn't go to it.
Second night you've got Pantera as the headliner, which is a pretty big headliner. But then you've got Lamb of God, In This Moment, which doesn't sound like a metal band at all.
It does not.
I'm reminded of like Family Ties. The old 80s. What did you think? I can't remember. I can't remember who sings it at the moment, but it's what did you think I would do in this moment? That's first thing I think of when I see that name.
Okay.
But Motionless in White and Under Oath.
Yep. I'm not going to that night either.
I think I've heard of Lamb of God, but I couldn't tell you.
I've heard of them, but I couldn't tell you a song either. Right there with you.
But now I'd be going to Sunday. You've got Slipknot, Megadeth, Bush, and Flyleaf, and Guar. I'm done. That's it.
Why is Bush at this this festival though?
That's a good question.
They don't fit in, but I would love to see them.
Yeah, they are not in the same style as Megadeth, Slipknot, and Guar.
Definitely not. I think I remember 10 years too. Early 2010s. I think they had a couple big hits.
Traverse the Abyss. Now that's a good name. All right, let's move on here. That was try and pronounce that name for me. The name of the festival.
Inkcarceration.
There you go. He says it better than me.
Oh no, it's Inkcarceration.
Incarcerate. Featuring Tattoo X Convention, Reformatory Tours, and Blood Prison Haunted House.
Nice. Blood prisons are my favorite.
Where's this at? Oh, at the Ohio State Reformatory. I wonder if that's like a famous haunted house.
Very well could be.
For those that can't see, at the bottom of the lineup card, there's actually a silhouette of a big, like looks like a insane asylum. So I bet you that it is.
And again, Bush just doesn't fit into that.
Gavin needs money.
He does. Although I'm gonna admit that their most recent album is pretty solid as well. He's putting a little auto-tune on his voice, which is disappointing, but he still sounds like Gavin Rosdell, so I'll give him a pass. But the band's solid. So I'm gonna say Bush is still all right in my book.
Now we get to Chicago mainstay here, Lollapalooza. August, Grant Park, Chicago.
There's that Odessa band again. Need to check them out.
Yeah, that's like the third or fourth time now.
Yep. They're making waves.
Go ahead and read them off. I need to grab a drink.
Okay. So Lollapalooza, we got Kendrick Lamar, Billie Eilish, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Odessa, Lana Del Rey, Karol G, the 1975, Tomorrow. I don't know if that's Tomorrow Times Together or Tomorrow X Together, but I don't think I've ever heard of them either way. So Chili Peppers are the only headliner that I'm really interested in. What about you, Steve?
Well, I mentioned earlier I'd like to see Kendrick Lamar get into his music, but
sure.
The 1975.
To Pimp a Butterfly is considered one of the greatest. I don't want to say greatest albums of all time, but it's on a lot of the top 100 lists. So,
he's gonna kill me if I get it wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Jamal on his Alabama Shakes episode mentioned Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
As on his short list.
Okay. And Billie Eilish, I've got a lot of respect for her as well, but I can't get into it.
I'm the same. I've tried because she was just such a big thing. Her name was everywhere, and so I listened to her music, and it was kind of boring. Same with Lana Del Rey.
Yes, exactly.
I was just like, that's it. This wasn't the movement that I was expecting.
Have you heard of Tomorrow Times Together or Tomorrow X Together? I've never heard of them.
Negative. Do not know who they are.
All right. And I started to make my way through the secondary list here, and there's not a lot that I know. They got 30 Seconds to Mars.
They got Carly Rae Jepsen. They Call Me Maybe girl.
Oh, no. Now, see, I wouldn't have put that name with the song. So I still don't want to see it.
Young Gravy again.
Yep. Sylvan Esso, I do enjoy her music.
Did you say Portugal the Man?
I have not. Nope.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So those are always that's always a good band to see when you can.
Okay. One thing that I am learning, there are a lot of bands that are mentioned in quite a few of these festivals, as further down the list. So Peach Pit's one of them. I've seen that name pop up quite a bit.
Yeah, I've seen Peach Pit.
So
I haven't seen them.
I think I'm going to make a side list of bands that are on multiple festivals and give them a shot.
If anybody out there wants this document with all these festivals, let me know. I will send that out to you.
But yeah, I don't know how they chose the order for the secondary list, because this secondary list is just a hodgepodge. It's a mess.
Well, I mean, past the first, say 3-4 lines, I don't know anybody below that.
Sure.
So it's definitely probably a bit of name recognition there.
Yep.
Like Matroda, Umi, Suico, Blanqui, Mavi.
So again, you're just
Tia Corn. These are all one-word names for bands. So, but like I would skip all of them to go see Richie Mitch and the Coal Miners.
Do you know them, or
no?
You just like
but it's
name?
An awesome name. If I'm looking at this and saying, who am I going to go see? And I know nothing about the bands. I'm going to go see Richie Mitch and the Coal Miners, Axe and the Hatchet Man, Sincere Engineer, and Michelle. Because that's my wife's name.
Okay,
so
nice.
That's a good reason.
Okay.
But Sincere Engineer is one that I am definitely going to look up after this. That's because that is a great name. Hey, we've got my brother Nick, the Cooler Epley.
Hey.
How's it going?
Not too
shabby. Nick, good to see you.
The Cooler Epley?
The cooler one.
Well, Cooler Epley, are you going to Lollapalooza this year?
I'm not. There are no good lineups, unfortunately. Bonnaroo has let me down again.
Yes, we made it through Bonnaroo, and
we got through Bonnaroo.
Wasn't great. Has there really been an outstanding one? We had a couple good ones, but I'm still waiting for that one that's just like, yep, this is my dream concert.
My one that's going to be is the Bourbon one. You'll see it when you get to it.
Okay, I think I've got one in mind as well.
Yeah.
Once we get to it. But
Nick, do you know who Odessa is?
I do not. I listened to their top 5 songs on Spotify when I saw they were at Bonnaroo, but I don't know. They're kind of like a EDM type thing.
Oh.
I don't know anything about them still.
I'm just from that description, I'm going to pass.
All right. Anything else we want to say here about Lolla?
Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's all I want to see. So
yeah,
I won't be going.
Chili Peppers, Portugal, and maybe the 1975, and Richie Mitch and the Coal Miners. Such a good name. All right. Next up is Evolution, St. Louis, which looks like a pretty good set list. 26 through 27 August.
So 2-day festival. This is close to home as well. I could make this one. I like what they did for Saturday. They put
that's a hard Saturday to beat there. Yep. Black Keys and the Black Crows. Wow.
That would be excellent.
And if they had Brittany Howard, Ice Cube, and the Sugar Hill Gang.
How do you know which ones are playing Saturday and Sunday after the two split up top? Or are they all playing 2 nights in a row?
It's hard to tell.
Yep. But yeah, Brittany Howard, I go see her for sure.
Sorry, my son just got a call back.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Tell him congrats.
Congrats, Reed.
Yeah. Sorry, so missed that. What would you guys say?
We were just saying it's hard to tell on the secondary list who's going to play Saturday night, who's going to play Sunday night.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. Like if they had Brittany Howard and the Sugar Hill Gang and Ice Cube, it's the same night as the Black Keys, the Black Crows. Man, that's a hell of a show.
It would be for sure.
I didn't know Ice Cube still performed.
Neither did I.
Those family movies ain't paying the bills anymore. We got to get back out on the road.
No more Are We There Yet?
Where are you going? I'm going to the nude party.
But yeah, I'd go see Saturday night just for the two headliners.
I mean,
Anything else?
I don't know if y'all mentioned, but Sunday night is nothing to scoff at. Brandy Carlisle and Ben Harper. I mean,
Sure. Yep.
That's also a great 1-2 punch. So
I'm still picking Saturday.
Oh yeah, I would never shy away from that Saturday. Black Keys, Black Crows. I'm there.
The Sugar Hill Gang, is everyone still alive in the Sugar Hill Gang?
That's actually a question we have for later, which revolves around if all the originals are gone from a band, is it still the band? So think about that one.
Well, that goes back to the Sublime and Rome.
Yep. Well, it's always hard when the lead singer is the one that passes away. I mean, that one's hard to replace. Only a few select bands have been able to do it over the years, like AC/DC.
Yeah, AC/DC definitely lucked out. I'm still a bigger Bond fan, but
all right, this was mine, Luke. This is the best festival in all of the United States this year. That's even with Blondie on the set list. Because Blondie sucks. I'm saying it right here and now.
All right, I can get behind this festival.
This is
going
Bourbon and Beyond, obviously out of Louisville, Kentucky, September 14 through 17. And this is an amazing set list across the board. But obviously for me, I'm going with the Saturday. We'll get to it. But so Thursday, we're at Brandy Carlisle, Billy Strings, and Train. All right. Mavis Staples, Buddy Guy.
Yep, I'm a pass.
Yeah, I would enjoy myself watching that one, but it's not like best.
Well, especially if they're serving, specialty bourbons. that'll make a.
This whole thing reminds me of what Bonnaroo used to be.
I can see that.
Friday we've got the Killers, Duran Duran, and Hozier.
That would be a great night for me. Killers and Hozier are...
followed by Brittany Howard, Gaslight Anthem, Bastille. I mean, yeah, that's a good night in itself. Wayne Newton, sure.
Yep. And again, bourbon.
But then we have Saturday, which is a fantastic one day. Even if I would pay the full concert price of all four just to go see this day. So you got the Black Keys, the Black Crows, the Abbott Brothers, Spoon, First Aid Kit, and Old Crow Medicine Show. I mean, that is just 6 bands right there that I'd wait in line to see.
And City and Color, I think you might dig them as well. So yeah, that whole day would be
that's a really good day.
Pretty stellar.
Sunday's not bad. Bruno Mars, John Batiste, Aloe Black, all great. And yeah, Blondie, sure. Dump Stank, not my thing, but I know of them.
Yep, I would pick. I'd be there with you on Saturday, so we can finally agree on one.
What about you, Nick? Which one?
I don't think it's even a question. Saturday would be the runaway there
for sure. And Spoon in concert, they are so energetic. Nicole and I went and saw them here in Peoria. That was a while back now, but man, we were front row. It was just, and Britt, their lead singer, actually knelt down and sang one of the songs to Nicole.
Did he really?
I think she fell in love that night. Yeah,
that's cool. Caught Old Crow Medicine Show at Bonnaroo. Really good. They did some songs with Mumford & Sons too.
Okay.
Yeah, that was. I'm a big Old Crow fan. That's one band that I can safely say I have all their albums, at least digitally.
Sure.
You saw them at Bonnaroo, right?
Yeah. They friend of mine, Michael, that did the Ride the Lightning episode. He gave me all of their albums, and I never looked back. I've bought them since, but he kind of gifted me a handful.
Al's done that with me for quite a few bands. He'll just give me a burnt CD and say, "Hey, check this out," and then I'll go out and buy their whole discography.
I downloaded all of them from Michael, and then actually went to Afghanistan for a long time, for a long stretch. So that was like the new bit on my MP3 player at the time. So I really spent a lot of time listening to Old Crow, and just great albums. Great albums. All right. Moving on to this is an interesting one.
I think you mean the opposite of interesting.
Well, interesting is a objective word. So I get this is North Coast Phase 1, I guess it's called.
And where's North Coast?
Looks like it's Bridgeview, Illinois.
Okay.
I don't know where that's at, and I'm from Illinois.
Yeah, so am I. I've never heard of it.
Seat Geek Stadium. Okay.
I can honestly say I do not know a single band on this list.
Me neither.
Guys know Marshmallow?
No.
The guy who wears the marshmallow on his head.
I've never seen Marshmallow.
I thought that it was a mouse on the head.
That's Dead Mouse.
Oh, that's Dead Mouse. Oh, okay.
So there's a guy that also wears a marshmallow on his head. Is he?
Is that the guy that dances in the back of the LMFO videos? No,
I don't
maybe.
Know.
So this guy could be.
But we have seen Zed's Dead. We've seen Zed's Dead and Cajun White. Something.
These are all like just DJs.
Most likely.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all just dancing, lights and.
So this is pop some pills in the woods and
absolutely
dance around with the.
These are the bands at Bonnaroo that play after midnight.
Okay.
And you walk back to your campsite and you can't hear for a couple hours.
There you go.
Yeah, but the beats from the campgrounds, you can feel the vibrations. It helps lull you to sleep.
Exactly. Hey, Zed's Dead. I've seen them. That's the only band on here that I've seen. If you call them a band, but
that makes sense now.
DJ Snake, Liquid Stranger, Black Tiger Sex Machine. To each their own. I mean, one show at per night at a stage, I could see, to have a diversity of bands, but to have a whole festival of this, I'd go insane. That's not.
You said this was in Illinois?
This is in Bridgeview, Illinois.
Now I know there's Electric Forest is the famous electronic
I've heard of that
festival. One. And that's kind of, I think it's in Delaware, and that's all these kind of bands. But I've never heard of this one. But it looks like all the same bands.
Bridgeview is a suburb of Chicago.
Yeah, it looks like it's near Oak Lawn.
Yep.
Oak Lawn and Brookfield, south of Cicero. Okay. Yeah, just off 294.
It doesn't look like there's any wooded area either, so it's not going to be
any kind of Electric Forest venue.
Yeah, no. See, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, the Electric Forest, where people are just.
It's 3 days. I mean,
Crazy.
people got to stay somewhere.
I've seen pictures of the Electric Forest. I mean, the venue and stuff, it looks cool. But
it does look cool. I couldn't handle it, though.
You take bands from other festivals, put it there, and I'd go, but
exactly
not for me.
This is in Seat Geek Stadium. So there's an actual stadium there, I guess. So.
Okay.
Maybe everybody gets a 20-minute set. And
then
people will ask, is this somebody new?
So for something like this, I would think that the forest would almost be necessary, because if it's at a stadium, you're just kind of tethered to your seat, right? So if you're popping Molly and you're listening to rave music, sitting at a seat, that doesn't sound like a good time.
You strap yourself into the Black Tiger Sex Machine, and
there you go.
These damn kids sitting down at concerts. All right, let's see what we got next. Now we've got Louder Than Life. Highland Festival grounds at Kentucky Exposition Center, September 21 through 24. 4 days, and this is a pretty good lineup.
I agree. I would like to cherry pick and make my own night, but
I'm avoiding Friday at all costs.
Because Limp Bizkit?
Tool and Limp
Tool.
Bizkit.
Yeah. Oh, I guess, yeah. You've got a bad taste in your mouth. I think you need to revisit that because when I saw Tool live, it was an experience.
Death Clock. So all right. So Thursday we've got Foo Fighters, Weezer, and Rancid, with some undercards of 311, Coheed and Cambria, Royal Blood, and Code Orange. Never heard of those two.
Royal Blood, you would love, dude. Check out Royal
Yeah.
Blood. Yes.
What about Mannequin Pussy?
Not heard of them. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought they all had the smooth area.
Nice placement for Mannequin Pussy next to Beauty School Dropout.
There you go.
And there's Bob Villain again.
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
Or she, whatever.
So Friday we've got Tool, Godsmack, Limp Bizkit, with some undercards of Megadeth, Corey Taylor. That he's the Slipknot guy, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And I don't know the others. Dead Poet Society has been on several lineups.
See, another one that we need to write down and just check out.
Which is, it's also a good name. I mean,
yeah, but when you've got that much carryover, you know, they're either super hard workers,
yeah,
or
doing the circuit, you know.
Yeah, they've got some good songs. So,
yeah. All right, where we at? So Saturday we've got Avenged Sevenfold, Pantera, and Falling in Reverse as the headliners. I do not know who Falling in Reverse is.
Me neither.
That's a new one for me. And then Death Clock, I just know because of the cartoon on Adult Swim.
Nope, I don't think I know anyone in that secondary list.
Yeah, just Death Clock for me.
Is that Jesus Peace? Is that what it says?
Yep.
Okay.
Jesus Peace, but not peace as in like peace, love, and harmony. Peace as in like piece of the pie.
Yes. And Devil's Cut. Devil's Cut and Jesus Peace are playing the same night.
Strange kids dragged under Jesus. Okay. I mean, that's just the way it reads.
Yep.
All right. Then Sunday, we've got the headliners are Green Day, Queens of the Stone Age, and Turnstile. With, oh, there you go. Run the Jewels, Flogging Molly. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know what day I would pick here.
Got the Viagra Boys, too.
I've heard of them. I've never given them a shot. Have you ever listened to them? Or
No.
Okay.
Interesting name, though.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the Emo Night Tour.
Where's this at?
Below Queens of the Stone Age in the middle.
Okay.
They do have a couple of the old emo bands with the Mayday Parade and the Census Fail.
I'm leaning either Thursday or Sunday.
See, I'd do a Foo Fighters, Tool, Queens of the Stone Age night instead of having to split those up.
Yeah, but you can't do that.
I know.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing Rancid. That's one that I've never had a chance. So that was definitely. I probably have to go with Thursday. Foo Fighters, Weezer, and Rancid. Weezer does not belong in this list at all.
I agree.
I like Weezer. I like them a lot. I've seen them live. Great show. But just from style of music and
Green Day,
hardness,
then you could say Green Day doesn't belong either. Neither do Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters are closer to the rest than Weezer is.
Sure.
Green Day. Green Day gets too political to me. I don't care about your thoughts and views. I just want to hear you play music. But that Sunday has Run the Jewels and Flogging Molly, which jumped out at me, and I think like put them as headliners.
Well, Queens of the Stone Age. Come on.
Yeah, but Turnstile.
All right, I'm going with.
But also Coheed and Cambria.
Friday's my night. Yep.
What about you, Nick?
I mean, I guess I'd have to go with Thursday, but it'll be only for the headliners. I don't know anybody else.
This is a headliner concert. You know what I mean?
Both of you check out Royal Blood. Please write that down. You will love that band. I promise. So it's a bass player and a drummer. That's it. It's like White Stripes with no guitar, but the bass player is so cool with the guitar or with the bass guitar. He can make it sound like a lead guitar. He can make it sound like a rhythm guitar. He's still slapping it, so it sounds like it's got that chunky bass sound. It's really, really good.
All right.
So, this is the one that I was telling you about.
Here we go.
This is the concert that I'm in for all nights. This is it.
Where the hell is this? It's in California.
Yep, an hour away from Dana Point, where Ohana is. So
this is Power Trip in California.
This is
Empire Polo Grounds.
This is the winner. We don't even need to play this game anymore.
There are no undercards. It is just headliners on the lineup sheet here.
And every one of them is a winner.
Yeah. So Friday night you got Guns N' Roses and Iron Maiden. Saturday is AC/DC and Ozzy Osbourne. And man, I hope they got some nursing staff at the ready for that night.
Yep.
Sunday night, Metallica and Tool.
So who decides who the main band is? Because one of them's got to play before the other. So who gets the final slot?
Or there's two stages. I don't know.
There could be.
But I mean, that'd be cruel too, because I mean, me personally, I'm taking Friday night. I mean, Guns N' Roses and Iron Maiden. This is a no-brainer for me.
Sunday for me. Sunday hardcore.
I've seen Metallica and I've seen Tool. I've never seen Iron Maiden, never seen Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
So I would see Guns N' Roses and Iron Maiden just that set in a heartbeat. But if they had two stages both playing at the same time, yeah, that's cruel because
I doubt it. I doubt it very highly. That no one wouldn't have choose between any of these.
But then you got Guns N' Roses be like, we should be headliners, and then Iron Maiden's like, well, fuck you, we're Iron Maiden. Don't you know who we are? I didn't know that AC/DC and Ozzy Osbourne were still doing shows.
Brian Johnson got better. I know he quit for a while, or didn't quit, but the
Axl guitarist
took over.
But the guitarist for AC/DC is
dead.
Did he die?
Angus isn't dead. His brother is, and I think he did rhythm. So,
but Ozzy's like a hair away from the wheelchair. I mean.
I didn't know Ozzy was still going either. Yeah.
This is that Saturday lineup is surprising to me.
But yeah, Brian Johnson was replaced by Axl. So who knows? Maybe Axl will come out and play with him again.
Axl Rose?
Yeah.
Oh,
you didn't know he toured with AC/DC?
No, I did not know that.
He did an amazing job too.
Huh.
He was in a wheelchair because he hurt his. So he did the Dave Grohl thing. Remember when Dave broke his leg on the stage?
Yeah.
Axl did the same thing. He sang from a wheelchair.
I saw Ozzy about a year and a half ago, and yeah, he stands there like a big purple vampire and did not move. Oh, now I can't hear. God. Hold on.
Hey.
Enter Mike.
And Mike's wearing a Tool shirt.
New computer at work, man. I'm really struggling.
You can tell.
We can hear you.
Hold on.
Jiggle the cable.
Oh.
But then Metallica might be, say a solid pick based on, they got the brand new album out.
Yep. But Metallica and Tool in one night. I mean, that's impossible to pass up. That's my night. I'm going Sunday.
Yes. You don't know how long this has taken for me to try to get on this new computer. I've been sitting here for a half hour. I'm not even joking because they got this all fucking screwed up. All right. So I'm finally here. Sorry, y'all.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
I'm so irritated. I went from a company where it was like, everybody was trying to make marketing stuff and into a place that's very like buttoned down. So to get on to anything has been insane. Like it took me 25 minutes just to get the Bluetooth on my headphones to like connect, and then the volume wouldn't work, and then I could talk, but then I couldn't hear. So yeah, the power trip, by the way, that would be the ultimate one to go to.
Absolutely. You came in at the right time.
My pick is still the bourbon one.
I will say as somebody who went there last year, me and Danny, he's not on here, but
you went to this last year.
We went to Bourbon and Beyond last year. It was Pearl Jam, Brandy Carlisle. That was the Queens of the Stone Age, but we went to it last year, and it's really cool because Steve, it's set up like Brandy Carlisle plays first, and then Billy Strings plays like when she's done. The Killers play, and then Duran Duran plays. Like you don't miss anybody. You get to watch them all.
Nice.
And if you have a T-Mobile phone, it's even better because they have like a whole like place where you can like stand. And like there's like multiple bars in the T-Mobile like shade area where you could like sit and like watch the Black Crowes play, and then walk over and get a beer, and then the Black Keys start like 2 minutes later.
You are still able to avoid Blondie though, right?
Yeah, for you, yeah. Well, the thing is only one band plays at a time. So if you don't like Blondie or the Hozier or, Train, for some reason you have 45 minutes to waste with Train, that's when you can go like, they have tons of food, they have tons of barbecue, and really cool like places to go like around there. It's a great festival, and Danny and I were pretty pumped to go, but this year, but like some stuff has come up, so we can't, which is kind of a bummer.
All right, well, let's move along to our next one here, which is Sound on Sound, Bridgeport, Connecticut, September 30th through October 1st.
I'm on board with this one too.
Does Bridgeport know that Ben Harper's black? Because it's pretty white up there, and it's all like white bands except Ben Harper.
I didn't even notice that till you said something. You got the Chili Peppers, John Mayer, Alanis Morissette, Trey Anastasio Band, Hozier, Nathaniel Ratcliffe and the Night Sweats, Dispatch.
Margot Price.
It is a very Gin Blossoms. Wow.
Yeah, I just saw that too. Margot Price, she went to NIU.
I don't know who that is.
Margot Price, she's kind of like she's a country singer, but like a lot of the women singers in country, like Casey Musgraves, and they're a little more like outlawish than like the bro country. She is from like right outside like Geneseo, Anawan area.
Is she
in Illinois?
As Mackenzie Carpenter?
I don't know if she's as good looking as her. She's a very cute girl, but I could not believe that girl today. I was like, why is this girl anything? But no. So, anyways, real quick about Margot Price. I will explain the joke, but Margot Price, really quick though. She was a freshman or sophomore when I was a junior or senior at Northern. She was a cheerleader that left NIU her sophomore year and moved to Nashville, and now she's like she's at this festival with these guys, and she's really good. But that girl today, that Mackenzie Carpenter. I never heard of her. I mean, I don't watch American Idol, but like I kind of have a feeling why she got the record deal, because she's a very attractive girl. I sound like the bad guy, but I
we haven't had a lot of country on this whole list. I mean, maybe what was the Nickelback show, Luke?
Yeah, Tailgate and Tallboys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But there are a lot of country festivals, though. When you were asking us to try to find some more of these for the list, there are a ton of country festivals going on, right?
I don't recognize anybody on that list besides the Nickelback.
Young Gravy has come up on several of these festival rosters.
And Steve, you know, we've talked about it. I saw the Nickelback in college, so it was my old roommate wanted to go see him.
Did the Nickelback open for the Pearl Jam?
Nickelback was by themselves at the House of Blues in Chicago. We drove from DeKalb for it. I'd like to see the show. I would say I would like to see Alanis, Trey, Nathaniel, Lord Huron, Ben Harper. Unless the Chili Peppers are better at festivals, I guess, then I'm a no.
The Chili Peppers kind of
they suck at festivals. I'm sorry.
Well, they don't belong on this set list.
No, it doesn't make sense. It's kind of all kind of mellower stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you got
and it's
Dispatch and John Mayer and stuff like that.
It's single people too. John Mayer, Alanis Morissette, Trey Anastasio, Hosier, Lord Huron, Ben Harper.
Is it
it's like single artists,
right? And is it like serotonin, like stuff that makes you kind of sleep? I mean, look at the last band.
There you go,
Julia and the Serotones.
And I can't believe no one's commented on Cautious Clay.
Oh,
I thought that was a nice play on.
I'm not touching that one. This is live and being recorded. I'm not touching that one at all.
I will say I've seen Lord Huron. My wife and I went and saw them at Skylo Theater. It's a great show. They do a really good job. I mean, I check out their stuff. I personally wouldn't listen to them. Like, it's not my thing to listen all the time, but for something to like listen to that's kind of like mellow and kind of good chill music, it's good. I feel like Sound on Sound is more like Sound on Sleep. Like, it is like you could probably like play all these artists like as your white noise machine.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, not like in a bad way, but like it wouldn't jar you awake. Like, if
I get what you're saying. I mean, take the Chili Peppers out of it, and then I mean the Nathaniel Ratcliffe and the Night Sweats, they get hopping. I mean, they're
right.
They're not.
I agree. I agree.
And also Ben Harper. Ben Harper can rock, but from the other ones are very, just super mellow, very Connecticut.
Yeah, I bet that festival is probably half the park of what's the one that they play in Chicago, Riot Fest.
Park.
Well, Riot Fest is usually in Douglas Park, so the big festival is usually Lollapalooza, and then Pitchfork is the other one. But Riot Fest is where like Weezer would play like the full Blue album, or Slayer would play Rain Blood, and it'd be like 4 days in Douglas Park, and I've never been to it, and I was so pissed I didn't go see Slayer just to see him once. Because I want to see a man in his 50s or 60s like play drums that fast. Like, I just want to. I have. That's why I want to go see Metallica again, just to see Lars like motor that shit. You know. I was like, speaking of, I was like, is Metallica on this one? Because I saw Aftershock. They usually do play this one.
This has got a lot of repeat. We're starting to get to the
Aftershock in Sacramento, California, October 5, 6, 7, and 8.
And 3/11.
I love that
we got a headline.
I love that Tool is playing on the same night as Limp Bizkit, because those guys, I'm sure, just have a lot to talk about.
Not the first time tonight.
Yeah, and well, the three of them, Godsmack, Tool, and Limp Bizkit, were on the same line as at one of the other.
They were.
I always tell my wife, I'm like, I wish Godsmack would have just stayed as like a Alice in Chains like cover band instead of being an actual band. And she's like, why? I go, because they named their band after the Alice in Chains song. And Cody Cambria, I will fight to the death for a live band to see. Those guys were awesome. Like, and if you like comic book shit, like Cody Cambria is like the perfect nerd band for you. I mean, even more than, and I hate to say this, but like more than My Chemical Romance, because I mean, the guy from Cody Cambria has written like volumes of.
Is that a shot against my mug?
No, not at all. No, not at all. Because I know that you like My Chemical Romance, and I know that guy from My Chemical Romance wrote what's that show on Netflix?
The
Umbrella Academy.
Yeah. So, but the guy from Cody, like, every record is a comic book, and he writes like comic books like around it, which is kind of I don't know, it's kind of cool. I would like to see this one with. I've never seen Pantera and Korn. It was never interesting to me when I was a kid, and I guess I could see them. I like that Incubus is playing with Avenged Sevenfold though, because Incubus is just hardcore. Like,
well, have you heard early Incubus?
Science was hard.
I have, but it's not as hard as like Avenged Sevenfold's like wimpiest song is
true. But I would put early Incubus on the same level as Pennywise.
Yeah, I could see it like AFI.
And I don't know who Turnstile is. That's new to me.
White Reaper though, that's a really good band. You guys should check them out. They're
well, so for the people listening at home, Thursday you've got Incubus, Avenged Sevenfold, and Turnstile. Friday the headliners are Godsmack, Tool, and Limp Bizkit. Saturday, you got Pantera, Korn, and 311, which 311's been undercard and headliners throughout this whole year here.
You also have Corey Taylor from Slipknot from that day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't seen. I mean, I assume Slipknot as a band is no longer a thing because they haven't been anywhere. Only Corey Taylor.
I mean, they had a record out last year.
Yeah, I think he's probably just doing like a side deal here between that, and he's also the lead singer of another band.
Stone Sour.
Yeah. Yep. So he's
but we haven't seen either bands on any of these lists. Only Corey Taylor.
Yep. So I think this is an off year probably for both bands.
That's also. Does that say Deathlock like the cartoons?
Yeah.
Are they
just the second time
we've seen them. Is they gonna have like like gorillas? They're just gonna be underneath and the cartoons are playing.
I don't know, but I'm curious.
Well, and I'm gonna go back to the comic book bands. I think the original comic book band is Rush. Neil Peart is a genius when it comes to writing a story.
Oh, Luke, have you read any of his books that he wrote?
That's what I was getting at, though.
Those Danny gave me one. I wish he was on here because I can't remember the name of it. It was like him doing like a road trip through like his. I want to say like his daughter died or something.
Clockwork Angels, I believe, is that was the name of their
he did like
album.
he was like driving cars around the U.S.
I bet
and he was writing about it, and it's a great read. I mean, obviously because he wrote all the lyrics to their everything except like the first record.
Yep.
So it's just really good, clever stuff. I do have to say, like, while I'm looking at Aftershock, I just saw that Daughtry was playing the same night as Guns N' Roses. So that has to go well for him. The guy from American Idol.
I can't say that I've ever listened to any of his stuff.
He's from American Idol, so it's like if Nickelback wasn't Nickelback. Well, it's pretty much just.
I don't think I've seen the name Daughtry for about 13 years. 12 years.
I couldn't believe it that I actually saw him.
Did he do a only solo, or is he one of the guys that tried to front a classic rock band also?
No, he always did solo stuff. From what I remember,
Adam Lambert fronted a rock.
That's Adam Lambert that does Queen.
Yeah, and
I don't know if he even won American Idol.
Didn't someone do the Doors too?
Eddie Vedder did for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's a special occasion. I thought someone was invited though.
Because like Ian, what's his name from the Cult, also did the Doors stuff too. And the only reason I remember that is because I see the Cult on the same day as Incubus.
Hey, Luke.
Yep.
Thursday, fourth line down, Bob Villain.
There you go.
He's
Put him
in
on the
there
list.
again.
We got to check it out.
Yeah, Bob Villain is making like almost all of the festival circuits here.
And
I am
we,
super curious about this guy.
we decided he was a. Yep. Lost the
Our
headphones.
guess is that he does Bob Dylan songs, but hard metal.
Heavy metal Dylan.
I gotta say, what's kind of wild is there on the Tool night. There's this band called Death Heaven on there, and those guys are like, they've actually won like Grammys and stuff for metal, and it's crazy that they're like the third line on a night. I mean, Megadeth is, obviously Megadeth and Code and Cambria, but that Death Heaven, I mean, they're not very commercial, but
I can
kind of
see.
surprising.
I could see Fred Durst going to Dave Mustaine and be like, "Hey, we're headliners tonight. You're not."
Oh God! I just Maynard is going to say something that he's playing at the same time as Limp Bizkit. I mean, I've seen
but
Tool.
Again, that's not the same. That's not the same. Or sorry, that's not the first time. I mean, where did we see that previously? Right here.
Yep.
Louder Than Life.
Same three. Crazy.
So that's crazy. There's no way that could work out well, because I've seen him at a festival.
Especially if Limp Bizkit gets the final.
If they close out the night.
There's no way they're closing the night with Tool there. There's no, and I'm not even saying that wearing a Tool shirt. Like, there's just no way. Tool.
Well, like the way this lineup is set up, I would assume that the first column, like Foo Fighters, Tool, Avenged Sevenfold, and Green Day, those are the nightly headliners.
I would think so, yeah.
Well, but Pantera, though, I mean, that
I get that, but Avenged Sevenfold they're pretty popular, though. They're not I think they're all right. Like, I don't listen to them and think they're great. There's Deathlock again.
Yeah, see, this is where we saw Deathlock the first time.
Those people have to draw really fast, like, to get that stuff done.
The Gorillas were on the Coachella one, by the way.
Oh, well, yeah, they have to be.
Where were we at? We did Aftershock.
Where we were young?
Well, pick a day. If you had to pick one day here, which one is it?
I'm going the final day, Queens of the Stone Age and Guns N' Roses. All right, we got two now. I'll see you there.
I feel like I would. But I love Tool and fucking Coheed a lot, and then Death Heaven's playing on.
You have a
Friday.
secret desire to see Limp Bizkit. We understand.
But that's like the perfect time to go get like merch though. Like, the rest of them are like days that you don't want to go get merch. I mean, I don't know who Turnstile or Incubus is fine. I saw those guys before.
I'm really curious about this Turnstile, because that's like the third set list we've seen where they're a headliner.
I'm just surprised. I'm really surprised that Incubus is with this.
I do want to say Turnstile.
311 too, though. I never understood 311 with like hard rock bands. Like, when they bust out Amber, like, what happens with all those guys? Do they start slow dancing? Do they slow mosh? Like,
everybody goes to get a beer, and the same people that hung out for Incubus's drive, they're the same people on the court.
Yeah, that's what I've always. It's so interesting when you look at metal fest, like harder rock fest, and then you add these
Guns N'
bands.
Roses has Patience and Don't Cry, and they've got some ballads.
It's also Guns N' Roses. I kind of feel like if Guns N' Roses, like, if Axl just like farted at a microphone for like an hour, people would be like, "Yeah, man, I saw Guns N' Roses."
What if Tool busts out Wings for Marie parts 1 and 2?
I'm fine with it.
That's the same deal, though.
Oh, look at this guy.
We got Al now.
Look at this guy.
Hey. What's up?
Finally.
I saw him so bummed he forgot about it, and then I was like, "Oh, is he coming on?"
I'm sorry. I did. I forgot.
That's
It's
what
only
happens
for me.
That's what happens when you get old.
No shit. I need somebody to really just like remind me.
I think they have pills for that.
No, that's all right.
Well,
It took me 45 minutes to get onto my computer.
And what's crazy is that this whole festival thing is we started this at 9:30. We're still going with just the festival lineups. We haven't gotten any questions.
Oh, God, that's good.
Yep.
Hey, you did do the Milwaukee?
Oh yeah, Milwaukee was up here.
Not Summerfest. I was gonna say the Harley Davidson.
Oh, the ones that Luke sent.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say my wife and I we're going to that. We're gonna go see the Foo Fighters and the Pretenders. And
Oh, too bad Doug wasn't here. He's got a funny story about being at that Harley birthday thing. I forget what it was. It was like one of the big deals. It was like the 75th anniversary or something. And they announced a special guest, but they didn't tell anybody who it was. And
it was Kurt Cobain.
Elton John came out, and like half the crowd left. They're like,
I would have loved that.
I think he told that story
He
on his
did.
episode. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no.
But then he said he regretted not staying. He said at the time he was like, "Oh, I got to be a macho biker guy." But
No way. I would have. That would have been awesome.
now he's regretting not.
Elton put on a great show.
I'm sure he did.
He did. Yeah, it was good. Steve, I would like to know the days on this one because
October 21st.
No, I mean like how it's. It's one day. No way. How? Well, it is all punk, but
yeah, they only play like 2-minute songs.
Multiple stages. I bet they got 3 stages going.
Where's Descendants?
Right.
Where's my favorite punk man?
Well, can we? I mean, that's kind of interesting that like Newfound Glory and Simple Plan, Sum 41, Beach Bunny, Joyce Manor, the Ataris, Bowling for Soup. Like some of these guys are really low. Like I don't know who All Time Low is or Gym Class Heroes. But Say Anything's good, but MXPX Saves the Days. These are all good bands.
That was something we mentioned
They're
earlier
fun.
with the hierarchy of the bands over time with these set lists. But yeah, I mean, all time low, Something Corporate, Thrice, Pierce the Veil. I mean,
Thrice was on there. I didn't see that.
I mean,
the Academy is. Yeah.
From the top to bottom, the way the hierarchy should work. I mean, Sum 41 should be higher. Bowling for Soup should be higher. Newfound Glory should be higher.
I thought maybe at first it was like Green Day and Blink-182 had a baby and they spit out. Offspring was before Blink-182.
For those listening,
and Rise Against is great.
For those listening at home, this is When We Were Young, Las Vegas, October 21st. Headliners: Green Day, Blink-182. Then you got 30 Seconds to Mars, The Offspring, Good Charlotte, 5 Seconds to Summer, and then a plethora of all your favorite punk pop bands from the late 90s and 2000s.
Yeah, it really looks
and also
like
Michelle Branch in there for some reason.
Michelle Branch is in there?
Are you sure?
She's right next to
Plain
Yellow
White
Card.
Tees. You get to hear Hey Delilah.
Goldfinger, they got a good cover of 99 Red Balloons.
Oh, they also have their single. Man, if I can remember it right now. So I remember
the Ataris. Name another song other than Boys of Summer.
Oh, I remember that. I remember buying that record like in college, and for the life of me could not remember it. But I will say, out of all these bands, so like one of the best bands on there, and they kind of don't give enough credit, is Rise Against. Like those guys. Like I was going for a jog the other day past the Metro on Clark, and there were kids like so these people lined up. It's like 4:00 in the afternoon, and it was for Rise Against. They had like a 3-day like stay at the Metro, and I was like, "Oh, that's crazy!" I'm like, I should tell my cousin would go see Rise Against. They're great. And the next day, Marissa and I were going to the Cubs game, and it had to be like 11 o'clock, for a 120 Cubs game. And there's 3 or 4 people like waiting for the next night to go see Rise Against at like 11 o'clock. And those guys aren't going on stage until like 9 o'clock.
Are they from Chicago? Are they a Chicago band?
Right, yeah, Rise Against is from like Chicago and the suburbs. They're very political, but like they play some really good like punk, like quick guitars, and I don't know. They had like a really good song about Katrina, like, or the video was like Katrina, and it was interesting. Like,
Who's that?
Rise Against. I don't know. I just thought that they were. I'm surprised that they're underneath Good Charlotte. And
No, Good Charlotte is a personal favorite of mine, but also in this punk pop genre, I mean, they're almost mini legends.
I just don't trust them because they just look like kind of like posers, man.
Savior and Prayer of a Refugee are great songs by Rise Against, and they come on the radio and everybody knows them.
Didn't one date
isn't kind of everyone on here a poser of some sort?
Well, I don't know, like Offspring and Green, Blink-182, they're just so goofy. And the 30 Seconds to Mars, I'll give you that. I saw them at Lollapalooza 10 years ago, let's say. And Jared Leto was just throwing out popsicles to the crowd because it was hot. And I was like, I was so happy that the guy from My So-Called Life just gave me a popsicle. I feel great about my life.
I'd use Requiem for a Dream rather than My So-Called Life.
That he was in My So-Called Life first, so he's always Jordan Catalano. If you go on, it does not matter. And Claire Danes is those two together. It was, but you had to be 15 in 1995 to like know. It was only on for one season, so.
Tickets for this festival here were crazy expensive, and they sold out really fast.
Really?
It was very popular with my
holy shit. There's
friends.
Lit.
I would not have guessed this would have sold out. That's crazy.
Oh yeah,
Lit is
And it's only one day, right?
That's shocking. With all of these bands, there has to be 2 or 3 stages.
There's
Plenty other stuff to do in
Yeah,
Vegas.
definitely 2 or 3 stages.
I just saw Lit like on the very bottom by like Newfound Glory, and it's
Why are
wild.
the plain white tees there?
Because they got one song just like Lit.
Yeah,
That one song doesn't really fit with all.
Oh, Hey There Delilah, come on.
I mean,
Beach Bunny, actually the best. You want to be honest, one of the best bands that's playing there is Beach Bunny. Their records are fantastic. I don't know why they're there. They're not like any of these bands.
Well, neither is Michelle Branch. When you said Michelle Branch, I didn't even know she had a logo.
Yeah, where is she at?
Right next to Yellow Card, the pop punk band with the fiddle.
Yes. Ocean Avenue.
Mm-hmm. Name their other song.
Only one.
No, they got 2. There was 2 singles from that record.
They had a song on the Spider-Man soundtrack at the time that got a lot of airplay, but Ocean Avenue was the one.
Oh, the Spider-Man soundtracks. Oh, there it is. Ohana.
There it is.
This is it. I'm still planning on going.
I would love
Father
to go.
John Misty's on here too.
Yep.
Oh, I'm surprised that Father John Misty's like second bill behind. I'll be honest with you, but I like Haim. They're a great band. Japanese Breakfast is fantastic.
I agree. Glenn
The War on
Hansard's,
Drugs.
Glenn Hansard's line 3, and this is Eddie's.
Yeah, but I feel like Glenn just like hangs out and just like shows up to sing on like everybody's stuff.
I actually met Josh Klinghoffer. He was in the crowd, the old guitarist for the Chili Peppers. We were sitting there watching a show, and he walked right past and sat and talked to us for a minute. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, because he was the drummer for the Pearl Jam shows we saw in Oakland.
Yep.
And
That was before the Chili Peppers fired him. I think it was a couple weeks before they fired him. It was his final show.
I will give Josh is the one who reminded Pearl Jam that it was 30 years ago for singles, and they played it in
that's
St. Louis. So
that was awesome.
I will say I would like to see the Chicks because honestly, like Eddie Vedder and Natalie Maines does this song. It's called Golden State, I think.
Yeah, that was one of the singles.
They cover it, and it's really good because I'm gonna guess they'll probably do that song.
Yep.
If I were to guess,
I would think so as well.
Yeah,
because he played with Jack White last year too. So
yeah, because she can wail, man, and Haim is just I love Haim.
But yeah,
but
Suki Waterhouse is another name that I've been seeing on a lot of these. I've never heard of him or her. I'm assuming her, but
because of I was gonna say because of Suki from the Jersey Shore.
If I had to pick one of these though, I would probably go with that first night.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Like and don't get me wrong, I love Pearl Jam and Eddie Vedder, but if I got Killers, Haim, Father John Misty, Japanese Breakfast, and Glenn Hansard,
that's a day
over. I mean, that's 4 compared to 3. I don't know who Goose is.
Goose is really good.
Jam band.
Goose is really good.
And
so is Lucius. Lucius is great.
And Lucius is a good band, but like I think I would rather want to go with those 5 over the rest of them.
What is Rainbow Kitten Surprise?
I don't know. I love it. It sounds like
I've seen them on a lot of lists. So.
It's a good name. It's a weird name.
But yeah, so for people listening and not viewing, the final night is Foo Fighters, Pretenders, Rainbow Kitten Surprise, Backseat Lovers, Suki Waterhouse, and the Sacred Souls. So, but yeah, I'm probably gonna go for night 1 as well.
Yeah, the Killers and Haim with Father John Misty, Japanese Breakfast. I think that's I like that.
Yep, I've seen Foo Fighters. I've seen Eddie Vedder. I'm going for night 1.
I haven't seen the Foo Fighters, but I've picked them on like 3 other festival set lists here.
Sure.
So try to change it up a little.
There you go.
Al, have you seen the lineup for the Bourbon and what the hell is that one called?
Bourbon and Beyond in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm telling you, one of the best festivals you could ever go to.
Yeah, that Saturday night is just fantastic.
The Black Keys, Black Crows night?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Then Spoon, First Aid Kit, Old Crow. That's pretty awesome.
Avett Brothers is one of the best shows I've ever seen. You want to talk about harmonies? Those guys bring the harmonies.
That is true.
That's one of the questions later, and I
know.
I'm here to argue. Harmonies are still a thing.
You got to have the right bands, though.
Yeah, and they're not mainstream. That's the other thing. A lot of the harmonic bands.
It's like Fleet Foxes.
Absolutely, that's number 1 right there. I would argue that Fleet Foxes are better at harmonies than a majority of the bands that people associate with harmonies.
All right. That was the last one I had on here.
All right, let's move on. Let's
move on.
Let's argue.
All right, let's argue. Let's get into. I got questions.
We got answers.
What was the first song you memorized?
I didn't like this question, so I guess I'll start with it. So if we're really talking first songs, I'm gonna be blunt here. So I had a cassette tape called Disney Afternoon, and it had the theme songs for like Gummy Bears, Tailspin,
all classics,
Chippendale, DuckTales.
Love each one.
I knew every lyric to every one of those. So
absolutely.
And then another tape I had was called The Simpsons Sing the Blues.
Also
have
a
that
classic.
CD.
Yeah.
and
I have that
cassette.
CD.
there you go. So I wasn't even of age to watch The Simpsons at the time, but for some reason my parents got me that, and I knew every lyric on that album.
Do the Bartman. Yeah.
Yes, that was an
Yep.
excellent song. I could probably
Oh,
still
yeah.
sing that one. So, and then other than that, it's what your parents are listening to, and I was usually in the car with my mom, so I was a country kid up until I realized it sucked. So, you got Vince Gill, Pam Tillis, Garth Brooks, Trisha Yearwood, all the early 90s country songs.
So my first song that I remember memorizing was based out of the reason is Showbiz Pizza in Peoria.
Yes, love that place.
Yeah. They sang Puff the Magic Dragon. And I loved that song. I knew nothing about it. I just knew it was fantastic. So it was actually the first 45 I owned.
Nice.
My parents got me a 45. I had a little Fisher Price record player that played only 45s.
I had the same one.
So yeah, Puff the Magic Dragon was the first song I ever kind of knew every single word to by listening to it.
Because of Showbiz.
Because of Showbiz Pizza.
Those bears and animals were so creepy. Wasn't there a Nick Cage movie that came out recently where he has to fight those Showbiz characters? Yes. It's so, yeah. So he's the janitor of the place, and at night the animals come alive and he has to fight them. No joke.
That just sounds like a Nick Cage movie, so it's very believable.
Yep. I forget the name of it, but check it out.
Nick, Mike, or Al?
I can't think of it.
I would say for me, I can remember when I was a kid, being in my dad's truck, just giving me rides to places. My first memory is he had a Southern rock CD, and he would play 2 songs for me on it. And I remember learning every word to Devil Went Down to Georgia, Charlie Daniels.
Nice.
And the other one was Mr. Banker, Leonard Skinner.
Oh, yeah.
And we would just play those 2 songs, and then I just learned every word.
Good tunes.
Dad did some things right.
This is a hard one. I'll be honest with you, Steve, because
this question came from Jamal.
I just can't remember a song that I remember. Like, I'm sure as like a parent, like your kid song that, like, I'm sure your son and your daughter's like the song that they would sing all the time, and you're like, Jesus Christ, like I blow my brains out. You know what I mean? Like they would sing this, they just keep singing it, and it's something. My parents always played so much different stuff, and then we had like Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers. I almost want to say like, The Wheels on the Bus would be like the first one I would ever remember, but I always, when you asked that question, I was thinking, I'm like, what's the first like rap song I could remember like all the way through? That's why, because that's harder than like
Ice Ice Baby.
You know what I mean?
I think I remember one. I remember one.
Like I got one because there is stuff like Marissa, like Ice Ice Baby, exactly. Like Marissa's like, how do you know this all the way through? I'm like, well, when you're 10 years old and it's rap and you hear it 10,000 times from a white guy with a terrible fade is trying to rap, like that's what I think of. Like I'm trying to think of like something that is like the worst thing that you could remember because you can't get out of your head. And there's so many, but I have to agree with that. The Ice Ice Baby or like Snow Informer. Like, because it was like, if you're a white, that guy's a white guy, we can rap as good as him, and we're like, no, we can't.
What about you, Al?
Your dad, Steve, Nick, there's a cassette somewhere floating around I have. It's that version of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but it's that Randolph the Bow-Legged Cowboy. Have you ever, that tune?
I do not know that song.
What?
No.
Oh,
I do not know that. Nope.
I don't even know if I should say it on here or not. But It was like, I was probably, I mean, judging by the sound of my voice on that cassette tape, I was probably 6, 7, 8, something like that. I don't know. But it's like, you know, Randolph, the bow-legged cowboy, had a very shiny gun. And if you ever saw it, you turn around and run. All of the other cowboys that, used to laugh and call him. They never let poor Randolph play any poker games.
I didn't want to monetize on YouTube anyway. You're good.
I don't think that one's copyrighted anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think it was the copyright that I was worried about.
It was a tune.
No, I've never heard that.
Neither have I.
I can never heard that.
For a second, I was like, I thought maybe he was going like the route of, Grandma got run over by a reindeer type thing.
Right.
All right, what's on next on the list here? What are your favorite sister songs? Songs that have been played together. Examples being like Heartbreaker, Live and Love Made by Zeppelin, or Traveling Man, Beautiful Loser by Bob Seger.
How late are we going?
What do you mean, how late are we going?
I can talk about this all night.
It says give 2. Go 2. Max out of 2.
I can't
5 minutes.
I can't.
Go.
I can't pick
Go.
a favorite.
I will lead this off, and I'm gonna
457.
I'm gonna throw out there "Speak to Me and Breathe" by Pink Floyd. You know, off Dark Side.
I'd say Brain Damage Eclipse.
That's good. Yeah.
Also excellent. I like the beginning of the album better.
Yeah, understood. And speaking of 50 years this year, that's pretty.
Oh yeah, 50 years
crazy.
for Dark Side. That's right.
What about Waiting for the Bus? Jesus. Just left
Absolutely.
Chicago.
That's it. That's on my list.
Feeling That Way Anytime from Journey.
Foreplay, Long Time.
Well,
Is that one song or 2?
Well, we can go in. That's 2 songs. We can go into instrumentals and then songs. I mean, you could go Eruption. You Really Got Me, right? Classic.
Yep.
And what's the,
I mean, like that's the one thing that sucks about like streaming and like when you play something on shuffle.
Yeah.
Even like the CD era when you had it on shuffle, because like in my mind when I hear like Heartbreaker and Living Love and Made, like I don't know how it doesn't like start, or the last 6 songs of Abbey Road, like you know what I mean, like
Sure.
like right. I mean, it's all bullshit because it's different songs, but it's all, you know what I mean? Like it's the same thing. That's the hardest part, is the minute you hit shuffle, you lose that. It's gone. Like you can't have it. And then you want it to be it too. Like when you hear it, like the Heartbreaker, and then all of a sudden it's done and you're like, and it's not, and it's like Stairway to Heaven, and you're like, what the fuck? Like I don't want to hear this. I want to hear Live, Love and Made.
Did you know Zeppelin?
That's the worst part about them.
Did you know Zeppelin never played those 2 songs live together?
Oh, really?
They didn't actually. I think they didn't play "Live and Love and Made" at all live.
I was going to say, I don't think they ever played that song.
Radio's to blame for that.
But it's like a perfect set. Like,
he said he never liked that song, so they never played it in concert.
Like the radio, you could say that if for things that the radio is to blame for, "We Will Rock You" and "We Are the Champions."
Sure.
I mean, those 2 are always together. And I'm not a big fan of "We Are the Champions." I hear "We Will Rock You" and I'll hit next.
Which is funny. I'm the opposite.
Really?
I like the "We Are the Champions" over "We Will Rock You."
The fast version of "We Will Rock You" on the live Killers album.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Mike's shirt. So Parable and Parabola.
Oh well, that's shit. I think I didn't research too much today. I'm just flying off the cuff. But the fact that like they put that together in a video, that I think that's when it makes it like it should have just been one song, but like because of some bullshit. But that is, and that video, by the way, that Tool video is awesome. And if If you like drugs, it's even better.
But like you said,
Just
if
throwing it out there.
if you're streaming, are you going to get Parable by itself? And if so, it makes no sense. It's got to fade. That
And it sucks. It's only good on the CD because it's seamless on the CD. Even when you listen to it on streaming, it has that 1 second gap that throws it off. And
absolutely.
I'm going to tie into that, Mike, because if you ever listen to Hotel California all the way through, you got a Wasted Time reprise song, and then it cuts into Victim of Love. And and those two songs together are amazing. And then when my dad, Nick, and Tony came down to Atlanta and we saw them do Hotel California live, it was even better. They did the whole album live, and the Victim of Love reprise with like a nice little orchestra, because it was all strings. Strings, all nice and soft, and then Victim of Love cuts in with just and it's a nice. It shouldn't work, but it does, and live was even better. Those two songs together.
Oh no, I mean that's the thing is like if you have that in your like every time I hear like on the radio you hear Another Brick on the Wall, Part 2. And then it gets done, and then you hear the
scream.
No, right at the end, like that.
Oh, okay.
Because Mother's right after.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. But all radio stations have but they don't play Mother. And to me, like, that's the beginning of Mother, not the end of that song. Like, that's the beginning of Mother. That's how that song starts. And it drives me and every time
my wife hears the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Floyd stuff's so hard to like cut up and like put on, you know. But that one's always bothered me the most is that breath at the end of Another Brick on the Wall Part 2 going into Mother, because like to me like Mother is like it makes sense, but then like then you're going into the full album. You're not playing the full album for like, you know, people on their drive home. It's just not happening.
What about you, Nick?
Well, the only one I have was Eruption into Really Got Me Now. But I would say Sgt. Pepper's into Get By With a Little Help From My Friends.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one.
That needs it.
Yeah, when you hear those individually on like Classic Rewind or something or Classic Vinyl, it's like that something's missing. You miss the other half.
Mm-hmm.
So
the Beatles did a lot of stuff in the last couple albums that like led.
Mm-hmm.
Death Cab for Cutie has that same thing. So there's a song called You Can Do Better Than Me, and then Grapevine Fires on their album Narrow Stairs. So the drums that lead into the song Grapevine Fires actually start at the end of the prior song, and without that, it doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
So
that's a good record.
Yep. Oh, for sure. Yep. And then a huge one. I'm not a huge Green Day fan, but Brain Stew and Jaded.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. A lot of times I forgot that they were separate. They were separate songs.
Yep.
They never play them on Sirius XM without them together.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's like Happiest Days of Our Lives and Another Brick in the Wall, like you mentioned earlier. I mean, when you hear Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 without Happiest Days of Our Lives,
you just get a scream.
It is so weird.
Yep.
It is. So if you heard Jaded, but not Brain Stew, that would be the same thing.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
To tack on to Van Halen though, what's the song that comes before Pretty Woman? Intruder. I actually like Intruder into Pretty Woman better than the other. Just my personal preference.
Because it also makes it theirs instead of like a Roy Orbison cover, you know? Because if it just starts off like as that, you're like, but then they plays that. For some reason, that guitar sounds like stalkerish. I don't know why. Before Pretty Woman, it does like
No, I can
like
see
David
that.
Lee,
Yeah.
like David Lee Roth is kind of like hot, like kind of like, oh, I'm gonna get you, kind of like a Pepe Le Pew type.
No, you're
shit.
right, because the guitar for Intruder is building to a crescendo,
Mhm.
and then it cuts into the beginning riff of Pretty Woman. So you're right; it could be considered very stalkerish. I like
I've always thought that. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I grew up Catholic and we're always nervous about the priests. So
maybe because it's called Intruder. I don't know.
that also. I didn't even know it was called until like probably 10 years ago.
Another one's Modest Mouse. So Float On, obviously their biggest hit ever. There's a song that comes before it called The World at Large on the album. And at the end of The World at Large, it's got that droning noise that's going, and then the drums kick in. And without
Or
the
like
entire song, what's that?
I was gonna say, or like Master and Slave for
Yeah.
once
sure.
and
Yep.
release.
And speaking of Pearl Jam, their previous band, Chloe Dancer and Crown of Thorns.
Yeah. Yeah, because honestly, like for years I always thought that because of the single soundtrack, it's on as one song.
Yep.
And so it's so different when I remember I bought Apple and it was 2 separate songs.
Yep.
And that was weird. Like I remember because it stopped just enough like on the CD that I was like, it didn't sound right, like without it like flowing through. But yes.
This is a fun one. Like I said, we can go all night here.
Yeah. Well, next question is going to be equally as interesting. Is it worth seeing an older band if there are no original members left?
Nope.
I agree.
Like 0?
I won't even do it when there's 2.
I mean, no, that's a degrees question. So what if there's 1 left? What if there's 2 left? I mean, what if the band's evolved over the years and
it's a cover?
Well, if it's like Paul McCartney and Wings, like, does it matter? Because if Paul McCartney's still there, who gives a shit? If Wings is there, his wife's been dead for 20 years.
I'm not going to see Wings. I'm going to see Paul McCartney and Wings. So,
but I'm saying, like, think about like, I don't know, like the Rolling Stones. Like, I have to say this is it's all about if the lead singer is still there. That's really how it is. Like, I know the guys from Journey found that guy in Japan at a karaoke bar, but like that doesn't happen all the time. That a guy sounds just like Steve Perry, like note for note like Steve Perry.
Well, we brought it up earlier. Brian Johnson and Bon Scott.
AC/DC was like
right.
There are certain instances where they luck out.
I think they found it like right at the beginning though. Like I know they had a couple albums, but like they found a guy.
Van Halen is just to throw that out there. I mean,
yep.
It is a select few bands that have been able to replace a lead singer and maintain success. Very hard.
Yeah, but I mean, like now, if you're looking for, let's just say you're looking for the classic rock stuff, you're not there because, and I will say this, like Marissa and I saw the Eagles, and Steve, I know you've seen them in the last 5 years. Like, we all know that Glenn Frey's dead. Like, but like his son was singing, and he sounded just like him.
Yeah, Glenn Frey was missed, but Eagles are a separate band because that's a band where every single member has their own songs, and Don Henley was a lead singer to the tune of Glenn Frey was also the lead singer. I mean, that's it wasn't like if Led Zeppelin lost Robert Plant.
Right, but what I'm saying is, like, you could go see the Eagles because Don Henley's kid sounds just like him, and so does Glenn Frey's kid, and they sing together because they got the one bassist they propped up like a Skeletor. You know what I mean? Like, you could do that.
Why you got to do that to Timothy B. Schmidt? He's been there since the 70s.
Right,
He played in Poco. Okay. He played in Poco.
Right. But what I'm saying is like we saw like the Eagles and I'm not as big as a fan as my wife is, and she was like, oh my God, it was so nice to hear that. And like, but what they do is like they bring on guys like Vince Gill was in the band, you know, and I'm sure you saw him with Vince Gill was in the band. And
who's an accomplished artist in his own right.
No, he's great. He just has to sing his own shit. But then like Joe Walsh is there, and then Joe Walsh, what they do is they play Joe Walsh's songs when he wasn't in the Eagles. And then like they played a bunch of Don Henley songs that were not Eagles songs.
Yeah.
But they give people what they want. They're like, fuck, all these guys are here. You might as well have them play the hits like a goddamn, like a video.
So a couple years ago, Michelle and I went and saw the Four Tops and the Temptations. Four Tops, there wasn't a single original member in there. But
that's weird.
The Temptations, it was Otis Williams. Sorry, I can't remember the last name, and then all the rest are all deceased. So they were all replacements, young guys. So you had one elderly gentleman and then three other guys that were, but you know what? It sounded just like the Temptations.
But that's because you were there and you want it to also sound like that. I read a whole book about like how you want sound to sound.
It's definitely not a blanket answer because to throw another example, I saw Roger Waters live. He did The Wall in its entirety and then several songs as an encore. And those David Gilmour songs didn't hit. I mean, but you know what? It was a fantastic concert.
Right.
And it all depends on how much you're paying too, because Pearl Jam, I'll pay $150, $200 to see Pearl Jam in concert. But if I'm going to see a Pearl Jam cover band, which is essentially what a band with no members left.
What if Eddie Vedder retires tomorrow and they replace him with someone similar? Would you still go and see him?
I would still go and see him. I wouldn't pay $200.
You said it.
Oh, wait, how long has Mike been in? And he brings up Creed. That's you got a record.
Okay,
now.
so yes, to your point, yes, I would go see them, but I wouldn't pay $200.
Luke, I would be
another variable.
I would tell you this: like, if Eddie Vedder was not like around, it's like Pearl Jam side projects. Like every guy in Pearl Jam has a side project. I don't give a shit about Jeff Ahmet's like band and Mike McCready's band. I don't care. Like I like Mike McCready's band when he was with Lane Staley. I like Jeff. Yeah, like I like bands that are good. I don't give a shit about like these second tier bands, man. I'm not there for that. I'm there for fucking Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam and rockin'. That's how I feel.
Here's the deal. Friday night, you don't have anything to do. Mike McCready, Jeff Ament, Stone Gossard, Matt Cameron are coming to the local bar 10 blocks away from you. Would you pay $10 to go see him? Probably.
So,
well, yeah. Who's singing though? If it's Guilford Godfrey, like maybe we don't.
let me adjust this though. So like Luke and Al, you guys are going to see Cheap Trick, right?
Yes.
So what if the only person remaining in Cheap Trick that you're going to see at Cheap Trick prices was the bassist? One guy left.
Doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It's about the singers, man. I know. I hate to be a dick, but like it really is about who's singing. Like it, unless you have a mimic or somebody close to it, you're not there.
Even then, you're not paying the full price. Yep. So I agree.
No,
lead singer is probably the.
It's always about the lead singer.
Would you pay full price for the Who right now, Luke?
I don't think so. Yep. And the only reason I'm paying full price for Cheap Trick is going to a concert with Al. He doesn't do concerts anymore.
That's the only. Yeah, I mean, I'm bummed that Bunny Carlos is out, but it's just because I'm going to be back there, and
it's legacy, Yeah, it'll be fun.
That's why you got to go.
I get to go with Duder El Duderino and his dude.
That's right.
Has anybody seen the Who in the last 5 years?
What's that, sorry?
Have you seen the Who in the last 5 years?
I've seen clips.
I saw Roger Daltrey solo maybe, I don't know, 15 years
ago.
All
right, so my brother Luke is like you. He loves the Who. The Who is number one. Like, when his top 5 records are the Who and Oasis, like that's it. Like, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
He got us, and we were sitting there. This is my niece was in womb. She's 3 now. We were in May out at it used to be called the World Music Theater. Now it's called. Then it was Tweeter Center. The Tinley Park, the Tinley Park Fest outside place, and it was probably 35, 40 degrees in like the rain. It was miserable, and like I've never seen the Who, and my brother's like, I got tickets for the Who. We're going to the Who. And because he loves the Who, and we sat there, and it was awesome. Like to see those, because honestly, to see those 2 guys, I know that you love John Entwistle, but the Who is it's Pete Townsend, it's Roger Daltrey, like without it, but they had like a full orchestra, and it was those 2 guys like rocking it. It was so cool to see it in a miserable situation. I will say this, like, go see them, because you know why? Because eventually those 2 guys are not going to be here, and you're going to be pissed that you don't see either one of them. That's what I will say.
But do I want that bad taste? Like if Roger,
I don't think you will. You're going to walk. My brother felt like you did. He goes, without the full band, I don't know. And he sat down and he was mesmerized, and he's like, my brother's a big Roger Daltrey guy though, so it's like.
Sure.
He loved it because my brother doesn't drink, so like Roger Daltrey doesn't drink, so it's kind of like a cool thing that they share together.
Gotcha.
In the mad world of living in the Illinois Valley, he doesn't drink, so he loved every minute of it. He thought it was the greatest thing he ever saw, and I mean, he's seen Pearl Jam like 5 times before that, so I mean, I get it. It's okay.
Well, I'll give credit to Page and Plant when they toured or did shows together. They didn't do shows as Led Zeppelin. It was Page and Plant.
Sure.
They changed the branding. They changed the name. You know, whether it was, I mean, that I got to give a lot of respect for that.
I
agree.
That.
I agree, but like the Who like did it right away. They were like, we're still the Who.
Should have been the Who
like,
-2.
I mean, yeah, but they were the Who. But they were the Who when the minute, he died. They were like, we're still the Who. That's it. And they're done. Zeppelin said, we're done. Fuck it, we're done. Like, Robert Plant said, that was my best friend. We're not Led Zeppelin anymore.
Well,
so
last year that came through Atlanta was the band, the 40th anniversary of the Waltz, the Last Waltz. And then it made me think, like, there's only got to be 1 or 2 of them left. And of the 2 that are left, there was only one on the stage, and it had a bunch of guest musicians. Good guest musicians.
Live still, right?
Yeah. He was one of the 2, but it was the other guy, Graham, or I think it's Graham.
Because Danko and Manuel are dead, aren't they?
Danko's dead, passed away, and Levon Helm passed away.
And Richard Manuel's dead too.
And Richard Manuel, he committed suicide. Yeah, he passed away. So the
Garth
Hudson. Garth Hudson. That's who was doing the tour.
Steve, I will say that's a great.
Alive,
he was the one doing the tour. Yeah,
he's still alive. Okay,
and he was.
That's a great drive-by trucker song, Danko and Manuel by Jason Isbell. He wrote that one.
All right,
and it was about the band. Like he tried, like the original. What the hell is it called? Southern Rock Opera was originally supposed to be about the band. And then they turned it to make it about Leonard Skinner, the guys from Drive-By Truckers. Jason Isbell wrote a song about him being like Danko and Manuel. Also, he has a documentary on HBO Max, so you guys should watch it. It's interesting. It's a good time, or not a good time. It's a music documentary, so it's always like miserable, but
So next question, and I'm gonna adjust this a little bit. It's what is your favorite use of a song in a movie? And if you can, I want to hear like a diegetic song if possible, as in it's like the characters in the movie are hearing the song too, like Johnny Be Good and Back to the Future. The characters hear the song too.
All right. I
or
got it.
Tiny Dancer. You know, that's.
I'll be back. I'm gonna go take a breathe. So be
Yeah.
right.
What you got, Luke?
Steelers Wheel, Stuck in the Middle with You, Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs.
Yep.
Yeah.
The character is so. What was it? K Billy.
K Billy's Sweet Sounds of the 70s.
That's
Here we have the Dylan-esque Steelers Wheel. Yeah, I remember that. Stephen Wright doing the DJ voice.
Yep. That was classic. So if you're going for hearing for the person in the movie hearing it,
that's such a great scene with Michael Madsen doing the little creepy dance while he's slicing off the dude's ear. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Okay. And then he talks into the ear. Yes, that's fantastic. You hear that?
I think mine would be Tiny Dancer and Almost Famous.
Yep.
When the plane's going down and then they'll start singing.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, Tiny Dancer. It was the bus scene in Tiny Dancer where it was the guy he had all the drugs in his system and they picked him up at the house. That was a beautiful scene. I mean, I love that movie.
All right,
Yeah.
I got another one. So how about Kenny Rogers? What condition my condition is in for Big Lebowski in the tripping scene? I'm assuming they're hearing it because they're all dancing to it.
I was gonna say, is that diegetic? Is that?
I think so. They're dancing to something. It's very well choreographed.
Yeah, that's a crazy scene.
So
that movie has a great soundtrack.
It does.
With The Man in Me from Bob Dylan and others. Peaceful, Easy Feeling, the Eagles. You know,
there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was Kenny Rogers' band there? A New Edition.
Yep.
Kenny Rogers and the New Edition. Yeah. For a little known movie, if anyone's never seen it, but The Commitments. About an Irish band that does soul music out of Dublin in the 90s, and they do a bunch of like Wilson Pickett and Otis Redding songs, and they've got a great rendition of Try a Little Tenderness right there at the climax of the movie that is wonderful, both in how they perform it and what it means to the movie. So highly recommended.
Nick, yeah.
Nick, you got one?
I don't know. You're putting me on the spot here. I wasn't prepared for this.
Now you didn't get the list ahead of time.
I was thinking of Almost Famous, but now I gotta. All I can think of is Walk Hard, Dewey Cox for some reason.
Yes. I gotta watch that again. I love the way they ripped the Beatles in India.
The whole movie's great.
Well, Al, you got anything?
Just the Almost Famous one.
Yep. Well, how about Bohemian Rhapsody, Wayne's World?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
I was gonna throw out there Empire Records. Empire Records has several, but I love the scene with Hey Joe. It's a cover of Hey Joe, I think, where he the owner of Empire Records goes into his office and plays drums to it, I think.
Okay.
I do have an answer to this question that you asked. I'm sorry. I went that they hear, like the actors like hear the songs or they're into it.
That's what he suggested. Yep.
100% in my mind is
Singles.
High Fidelity.
Oh, good one.
At the beginning when he's playing the 13-4 Elevators, You're Gonna Miss Me song. And it starts, spinning, and you can hear when he drops the needle, and then all of a sudden he takes it off and he's yelling at her.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one I always think of because he was wrong. Because he's an idiot. Like he's like a 5-year-old.
I love the Jack Black song at the end of that movie,
and
the shock of both John Cusack and his girl as far as like, wait, he can sing.
Yeah, that he's not Sonic Death Monkey, who's Barry Jive in the Uptime 5. That was the first time I saw Jack Black, and then he sings in it, and I was like, how great. And then I think that movie came out in like 99. or something, or 2000, and then
First time I saw Jack Black was Airborne. Anyone?
no,
Anyone?
no.
Wasn't he
Second
Anaconda?
time I saw him was Mars Attacks.
Yes, Mars Attacks was awesome. He played such an awesome role in that.
I just always think like when he sang, like the first time I heard him sing was like in that movie, and then all of a sudden he was in Tenacious D because I didn't have HBO.
And School of Rock.
School of Rock, yeah.
But Tenacious D was first though.
Okay.
High Fidelity put him on the trajectory.
For sure.
Yeah. Because Tenacious D, like we saw them, I remember we drove down from NIU, for your radio listeners, that's Northern Illinois University in DeKalb, Illinois, to go down to Illinois State, which is in Bloomington Normal, Illinois, which is like about an hour and a half. And we went and saw Weezer, Tenacious D, and Jimmy Eat World play at the Redbird Arena. And we got in, and Jimmy Eat World was good. They played the jams and all that stuff. They were good. And then Tenacious D was fucking awesome. It was two guys on stage with acoustic guitars. And he comes out and he goes, "How about that Jimmy Eat World?" He goes, "Huh?" He goes, "Those guys going to be the next puddle of mud." And he goes, "More like puddle of shit." He goes, "These guys suck." He goes, "We're the best band on this stage tonight." And they rocked out. And then Weezer came out and they sucked live. I was so sad. I was like, "Weezer, why aren't you good? I love your records. You suck live." They did. They sucked live. But Tenacious D was one of the best live bands, like, that I was not expecting to be live, like good live. Like I think that's one of the questions you could have for later. Like, what band did you see live that you were kind of like, "Oh, I didn't really think they were going to be worth the shit," or they were going to be good, but you didn't think they were going to be that good?
Did Dave tour with them on that first tour? I don't know if he's ever toured with them. He's on every album, so I just didn't know.
Oh no! Like when those guys were just playing acoustic guitars, the two of them.
I was going to say,
was no.
How cool is that though? How many people do you think actually know that Dave Grohl is the drummer on every single Tenacious D album?
I know, that's what's wild.
I don't think a lot.
And then he's in like all their videos.
Yeah, he played the devil in the movie. I mean,
yeah,
it's so cool that it's so under the radar that. So anyway, what were you saying, Al? Sorry.
I mean, a lot of people don't remember that they had an HBO show.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, that's when HBO was not like HBO, like Prestige, like Sopranos, and Game of Thrones. This was like, yeah, maybe these assholes can do something for like 10 minutes.
I have every Tenacious D album. They are a stellar band.
That first one is like, that was Spring Break, like 2001. Them and 50 Cent birthday song, whatever.
There you go. I still return to their first album frequently.
I so
like
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we ready for next question?
No. Oh, brother, where art thou? In constant sorrow. I know.
I
know that's not a radio.
That's a great song.
It's a great song.
Every song on that soundtrack is wonderful in the movie.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But they're interacting. So, but yeah, if we're gonna get outside of the interacting, maybe we save that for the next podcast.
But the that song is almost full of diegetic as far as the people interacting. We got the sirens singing, and then the little girls singing. In the jailhouse now.
Yep.
That's the only one.
It's almost like a musical, though. I would say it's almost like a musical. Yeah. Like
the only one that's not as Rock Candy Mountain at the very beginning.
But that song is amazing.
You could almost say, as long as you could almost like tweak the question, Steve. Like, if it's not like that, it's like not a musical / a musical, like. Kind of like, Walk the Line. Like, they hear the music, they know, because it's their life story type music. That's why I always like. That's why I always liked the, High Fidelity.
Many of the ones we
just
mentioned,
like dropped it.
Then surrounded by the story of a band, the commitments, Almost Famous.
Mm-hmm.
They're a holiday band.
Right.
Soggy Bottom Boys, sure.
All right,
All
I guess we can move on.
I'm not shitting on the question. I
Another
think it's a great
question we
question.
could talk all night about.
What where are you here? What group artist had the best solo career? Like
This
after
one's
the band.
loaded. This one's so
Dave
loaded.
Mustaine. Wait, no. Joking. Come
My
on, that's a good joke.
example is Don Henley. So Don Henley had a very successful solo career after the Eagles. That's an example. So
Every
go.
Beatle.
Every Beatle?
Well,
Every
okay.
Beatle?
Not Ringo.
John Lennon wins.
Paul McCartney, John Lennon,
No way.
even
Who
George
cares to
Harrison.
win solo?
I mean, Paul and
Dude,
George.
All Things Must
definitely.
Pass is one of the best. It's so much better than like anything that any other Beatle put out. All Things Must Pass is the tops to me.
It's an excellent album.
More than Band on the Run. I love Band on the Run. You know, my old man is like a Paul McCartney lover, but
How about
All
Michael
Things Must
Jackson?
Pass.
Oh,
Michael
that
Jackson.
is a good one. Yeah.
But does
Neil
that
Young?
count? See, we
Yeah,
talked.
that counts.
Neil
Jackson
Young?
5.
But we talked about this when this was.
Yeah, but that's
initially
kind of
going to
like
be
saying like Justin Timberlake outside of NSYNC. You know, like is it a band or is it a boy band? Does that count?
Well, we lose Steve.
Yeah.
So when we first brought this idea up as an actual podcast, he was going to do it not as a live stream, but as a out on the tiles. Or no, that's what we're doing now. What did he call the live streams?
Those live ones were like round tables.
Yes.
Those are round
Yes.
tables.
There
So we
was
could edit them. Now
Yeah.
these are all the ones that we could do whatever we want. We could like fart in the microphone. And
Exactly, we're getting plowed. So, but anyway, we talked about this, and I said, what about Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers and Tom Petty? So every Tom Petty solo album included all of the Heartbreakers. So why is it really considered a solo album? But at the same time,
oh yeah, because then the number one of all time is Wildflowers. Like that's the number one solo record of all time. Even though it's everybody except I think like one guy wasn't in it though. I think that's what it was.
Sure. But still, I just don't understand.
There's so many people. I mean, we could go on forever
Oh, for sure.
about this topic.
But pick your favorite if you can.
Neil Young.
So Buffalo Springfield is what you're going off of. Is that was his original
Crosby,
band?
Stills and Nash. Buffalo Springfield.
Yeah, but he was okay. You can't say though like that like he got away from Crosby, Stills and Nash. Like he showed up for like one song on the first record. Like he got away from Buffalo Stills and Nash, like from Buffalo Springfield.
He was on the second record,
right? But like Crosby, Stills and Nash, like that supergroup stuff, like
so. I think
it's not the same. I don't think.
I think the spirit of the question would be like Lionel Richie, famous for the Commodores, successful.
Yes.
And then,
but how many people know that he was the Commodores, Steve? I bet not a lot of people. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, like the 5 people you're talking to, but you know what I mean? Though, like
I didn't know that.
It's like Michael Jackson.
What about Ozzy?
Ozzy's
like
perfect
Ozzy
example.
by himself. You're right. I think that's the question. Like, how do you think the people that are solo artists that are they better than the band that they were?
What about
in?
Simon and Garfunkel?
Rod Stewart.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Stevie,
Paul Simon.
Stevie fucking Nicks.
Phil
How about
Collins.
Eric Clapton?
Yep. Cream.
Eric Clapton should never be in a band. He seems like a real prick. The guy's been in like 5 bands and nobody liked him. He got kicked out of every band. Every time I see like stuff about him, I go, I think he's been in 5 bands, but I think the one like it's kind of like the thing where they ask you like if you woke up and
together
you
a
met
Jeff Beck tribute in England, and it's supposed to be a pretty big happening.
Why he hated Jeff Beck? Like, you know what I mean?
Because Eric's still around.
I get it, but I always think Eric Clapton is the kind of guy like when you say like I woke up in the morning, I met an asshole, I met an asshole at lunch, I met an asshole at dinner. If you met that many assholes in one day, you're the asshole. Like the guy's a great guitar player and he's amazing, but yeah, I kind of always felt like he was kind of a dick. Like he's been in so many different bands in the 70s. Like Jesus, like hold it together. Fucking Fleetwood Mac made like 6 records, like hating each other. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's my
but as you mentioned, Stevie
okay.
Nicks, I prefer Fleetwood Mac as a whole over Stevie Nicks solo.
And I love Stevie Nicks. Like my father-in-law thinks that Catherine McVie should have been the solo artist. Like legit. Yeah, I know. He's probably not going to listen to this, but I always told him like Stevie Nicks is pretty funny. But every time, this will bring me to this question: is anybody watched the show on Amazon? The what's her name in the 6?
Daisy something.
Daisy Jones in the 6. It is awesome. It's a great show. You didn't like it, Al?
I just thought it was
the
like
songs
a
were
Fleetwood Mac ripoff.
Well, it's supposed to be. The person who wrote it said the person who wrote it said they wrote it when they. Well, okay, so this is why they wrote it. They wrote a book. They were watching The Dance. Remember The Dance by Fleetwood Mac, and the way that Stevie Nicks and they wanted to like do each other on TV. It was weird. I remember as a kid going, "What the hell's going on with these two people? I think I was like, are they married?" My parents are like, "No, they're not." And I was like, "Oh,
it's complicated."
They're sinners.
They're still in love with each other. To this day.
Oh my God! To this day.
I mean, just the album Rumors itself. I mean, they
but Steve, the person who wrote the book that was based off the TV show, like they wrote it because of that show, and they're like, what it would be like to be a fly on the wall, like for that stuff, and like, so I thought they did a pretty good job about it, but like you saw them, they were all good looking. Oh, yeah, look at that! See, that was before Fleetwood Mac.
There you go. And they're
that's a good $75, $50 to $75 to $100 album right now.
Look at her; she's got dark hair.
That's some good hair on Lindsay. That's impressive.
That's
yeah, because you never see him with long hair.
That's
ever.
That takes a lot of work to have a man with hair like that.
This is an excellent album, by the way.
He's part lion. He's part lion.
Yep. So anyway.
Didn't Lindsey Buckingham do Holiday Road from the Vacation movies too?
He
yes.
sure did.
Okay. Thought that was him.
But he's kind of a dick, so like, I mean.
Well, they kicked him out.
They kicked him out because he's an asshole.
And I think they replaced him with the guy from the Heartbreakers.
Again, why is Eric Clapton in different bands? Because hey, we know you're one of the greatest guitar players of all time, but you're a real dick. Like.
Neil Finn and Mike Campbell replaced Lindsay. That's how good he is, I guess.
Crowded House.
Oh,
Mike Campbell from
two guys.
Those guys suck.
What? Liam Finn, Neil's.
Mike Campbell sucks.
Playing.
No, I'm joking. Like those guys suck. Mike Campbell's in fucking Tom Petty and Heartbreakers, man.
He's coming to a small club around here, and it's on a school night. But man, and the tickets are pretty cheap, and I'm just thinking, oh, I should go to this.
Do it, yeah. It'd be a good time.
I really should. It's if it holds 300 people, that's probably overreaching.
I think he sounds a lot like Tom Petty.
Yeah, definitely.
Vocally.
Well, he wrote all this. Well, he wrote most of this.
Oh, he wrote all the guitar stuff for sure.
But I'm saying vocally, he's got a.
I've never heard him sing. So
Dirty Projectors, check him out.
I know the Dirty Projector.
That's
what I
Yeah.
Hey guys,
dirty knobs.
Oh, Dirty Knobs. Sorry. Yep.
Because like the Dirty Projectors are like two girls.
Dirty Knobs. Yep.
Those two albums are good.
Yeah, for sure.
We're closing in on 3 hours here for the full live stream. And,
All right, Andrew Bird. That's my answer. Andrew Bird is
And
What
we're
was he
supposed
in?
to guess the question.
well, what band was he in?
He was in Slipknot.
No,
Because he was on the Preservation Hall Jazz Band album.
Yeah,
I talked
so
about.
Squirrel Nut Zippers.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was the violinist for the Squirrel Nut Zippers.
Really? I had no idea.
I did not know
Wow.
Yep.
I mean, the guy's a professional. He's a professional fucking whistler, though. Like
And
one of the best
violinist.
whistlers in the world.
So if you listen to his albums, you think you're hearing a guitar, but he actually plays the violin like a guitar. It's absolutely amazing what that guy can do, and he's still kicking. Noble Beast is the album that you should check out if you ever want.
Yeah, it's a great record.
I had no idea he was in the Squirrel Nut Zippers.
He was
I didn't either.
Yep. So anyway, sorry, I had to throw that in there. That was my answer.
Well, say before this thing all wraps up, coming up in May here, we've got a new episode of Music Rewind with two-time Grammy winner Vago Galindo talking Punisher from Phoebe Bridgers.
Steve, I have to ask because I've been hyping up the Grammy winner. What did he win the Grammy for?
An album called, and I'm going to say this with my Midwestern white boy accent, Origins by Juarez.
Okay.
Juarez is a very famous Latin guitarist, singer-songwriter who's got like 30 Grammys himself.
And I would also like to add in, Vago has worked with Andrew Bird, which was completely unintentional there. That was not a segue by any means. So
it was a pleasure talking to with Vago. It was a lot of fun, and he was going to join tonight, but he got tied up. But we'll get him in on the next one.
Surprising, only good with all the whites.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, but that was it was a lot of fun. Looking forward to that episode going live.
Yep.
And then after that, we've got Broken Homes, and then the Cranberries, and then Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti.
And Nick, are you doing one this season?
I am not.
You are not. I thought there was one in the works.
He's going to circle
Tony.
one in. Tony's got one for this season.
Gotcha.
Nick's going to bring in next season.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I thought. So I'm going to guess Tommy Jepson is next year.
I'll keep pushing Tommy until he's got some time in his schedule. We've got we got a few
he's
that
getting his master's degree done. I think that's what's going on. He's been
Yeah, that's probably a priority.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
pressuring anybody. I've got plenty of people that are doing episodes, and I'll keep keep spacing
Tommy's
them out.
good.
So
Tommy's a guy when he's done with his master's degree and he can come on one of these. He's the kind of guy you want on here. He's a great talker, like loves music, and he's the guy that he pretty much me and Danny's he's like our guru. He's our main guy.
Your other guru Rick was going to join tonight, but he got tied up as well.
Oh really? I didn't know Rick was going to be on.
Yeah. Well, he replied back today, said he couldn't make it.
So hopefully I'll see him in August for the reunion.
Well, we may do one of these in May or June. We'll see. So keep an eye on the calendars and schedules. For those listening and watching, thank you for joining us out on the Tiles 4, a Music Rewind live stream. So please like, share, subscribe, and do all that YouTube stuff.
Smash those buttons.
Yeah. Smash that like button and stuff.
See you next week, Al. Cheap Trick.
Yeah, see ya. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's great. Have fun, guys.
Yep.
Buddy Guy too.
When he's the opener?
I didn't know there was an opener. That's awesome.
No. Saturday night.
Gotcha.
Is Buddy Guy at same venue.
All right.
Civic Center Theater.
When's the Doobie Brothers?
Next Saturday night, I'm going to be in Alaska, going on a cruise. So,
whoa, nice.
Like you guys in Chicago, I'd come see you.
Oh, wait, one follow-up from the concert ticket stub. Al, did you ever find out that ticket stub you were looking for?
I did, yeah. So Stevie Ray Vaughan did open up for 38 Special in 1984.
Nice.
Where'd you find it?
Where'd you find the info? Was it just some buried website?
It was very deep. I found a concert poster, like one of those old school handbills, like you put on the telephone poles, and it showed it.
Nice.
Nice.
Good find. I searched high and low. I could not find that.
It
so.
was tricky. Yeah, I found it, but you can't. I don't know if you can see it or not. No, you can't.
All right. Well, I appreciate the love here, guys, tonight. Thanks for joining, and I'll catch you on the next time around.
Adios.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
See you
everyone.
later, guys.
See y'all later.
See ya.